Man, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on out there? What's up, fam? It is the homie, Mainman Mademan in the building. Hey, man, y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing, man. What up to the fam? Hit that thumbs up as you pull up. Salute to everyone that catches this live. Major salute to everyone that catches this on the playback. Thumbs up as you pull up. Y'all already know what it is, man. It is a Friday night, man. It is a beautiful, beautiful Friday night. We are live, 7:45 p.m. live from the DMV, fight fans. Man, it is beautiful out here, man. I am really gonna miss this weather once it's out of here, fight fans. I want to say salute to everyone though, man. Damn, man, we go from summer to the winter just like that, fight fans. Shoot, man, the stores in my area out here already putting up Christmas stuff, man. What's really going on? You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, man. Hit that thumbs up for me, man. I want to say, fight fans, I am here to talk about this news that has been laid out on us today, or should I say yesterday. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. My man Terence Crawford, fight fans. The man pulls a power move. That's right, a power move. And we're going to put that word power in all caps out this bitch. A power move, fight fans, in every sense of the imagination, and allow me to give my reasons for such on why this is such a beautiful power move. I got my homie Red. Red, what's up with you? Red, I see you, homie. What's goody, man? Right for Bud, wrong for us. Shit got the whole boxing world in an uproar, bro. As to be expected, man. But look, man, I don't know why the boxing public or the boxing world would be in an uproar over this news. First off, let me try to quell the masses for a second. Hey, man, the fight ain't all fight fans. Why the hell is everybody tripping? Did you read any report that say that this fight is off? Has anybody seen anything from Errol Spence that says, hey, I'm moving on, I'm never going to face Terence Crawford? Because every report that I read basically stated that Terence Crawford is doing this for now, but he ain't taking Errol Spence Jr. out of his sights. Last time I checked, this is Terence Crawford saying, I'm sick and tired of waiting on y'all. Holler at me when y'all got y'all shit together. And I'm going to go over here and make this quick bag. That's all I see. Ain't nobody have an uproar when Tyson Fury decided to take a break from Deontay Wilder and go fight who he wanted to go and fight. And everything was all peachy fucking king. Ain't that right, fight fans? So why are we mad at Terence Crawford with saying, well, their house ain't in order? They may want to do the fight. They may don't. They're not hollering at me about things, but they doing something, but they don't have a final product. What do you expect the man to do? The man has been sitting around for roughly about a year, damn near to this point, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. He's done everything that he is supposed to do to this point. Look, man, when you approach a female, right, you spending all this money on this woman. You take her out to the best places in the world, first date. Okay, you get a little smooch. Cool. I ain't getting nothing. All right, cool. Second date come around. You spending a house on her. Boom. You taking her out everywhere. Boom. Giving her all of the good stuff. And then you take her home for the night. You still get nothing. You say, one more time, man. One more time. I'm going to try this one more again. And I'm telling you, man, if she don't put out after all of this money I done spent on this girl, I'm stepping off and I'm going to find me a new chick. And then you take that girl out again. She still don't give up none. And you just dropped a jiggle on that chick that night, right? And you sitting back looking like boo-boo the damn fool. Because you done spent all this time and energy and money on something, and every time you think you're close to it, it never happens. Well, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? You gonna say, you know what, I'm tired of dealing with this chick. Let me go find me another little down chick, right? And you gonna find you somebody cool. Now, if she get her act together, she fine and all that. She get her act together, you know what I mean? Act like she got some sense, know what's real out here. Then maybe I come back around to her. But as of right now, man, I got things to do. I'm going in another direction. What are you talking about, man? I'll tell you what I'm talking about. I got Terence Crawford approaching Errol Spence Jr. in the hallway. Nothing. I got Terence Crawford approaching Errol Spence Jr. at a fight. Nothing. I got Terence Crawford going to Errol Spence Jr.'s fight. Nothing. I got Terence Crawford willing to break his principles and morals to accept a bad deal. Nothing. Nothing. Every time Terence Crawford walks around, he's taking his promoter to court for crying out loud to get out of the deal to try to make the fight. Nothing. Month after month after month. Oh, we're getting close. Oh, we're talking. Oh, you know what? It fell apart, but it's back on again. It's on again. It's off again. It's off again. It's on again. Nothing, fight fans. Tim Smith. Nothing. He represents the PBC, shooting down the fight. Steven Espinoza acting like he don't know which way is up. I don't want to say anything bad to offend anyone. Everything is nothing. 11 months of nothing. Nothing but excuses and passes. Errol Spence Jr., the fans of Spence, a lot of y'all not seeing things clearly. See, y'all think a lot of us are anti-Spence because we point out his bullshit that y'all are so blind to. When I say, yo, man, why did he go and fight a 35-pounder, bro? Well, that's all right. He can do what he want to do, man. You know, how come he doesn't give Terence Crawford the opportunity to speak at his fight? Well, you know what? Because he don't want to. You know, he don't have to do it, man. He just doesn't have to do it. What? What the hell is that about? Every time I turn around and I ask a simple question that any other fight, why are they offering him some sort of deal like this? If they really want the fight so much, Spence Nation, why is this type of deal even being discussed? Well, you know, it's just because of the business. You know, it's the business. It's the business. Everything is a bunch of excuses and nothing. That's all you hear. Oh, Terence Crawford, he said he was going to go collect belt. He had a 2-year-long running joke. 70-30, 80-20, and y'all took up for it. And y'all didn't one time question it. Y'all got nothing to say to me. You got nothing to say to me because we got nothing. That's just the whole deal. So Terence Crawford has approached this bitch over and over and over and over. Hell, he even applied to the WBC and say, hell, let me be his mandatory. What more do you want? And see, Spence fans, I'm going to be cool about it. I'm not going to stoop to y'all level. Because for years upon years upon years, y'all have dragged Terence Crawford's name through the mud. And now we are at a point where there's no one left to blame because we know the kind of deal that they're trying to offer Crawford. There's no Bob Arum. Y'all were going around blaming Bomac. There's no Bob Arum. So now, now there's no one to blame. Y'all want to have a fucking kumbaya moment now, huh? Oh, now it's the suits. It's the suits. We've been here. We've been here, fight fans. And we always known that, Crawford Nation. But they knew that same thing, and they steadily put this at the feet of Crawford. He's a diva. He's this. He's that. And now that there is no one left for them to blame because they have been BSing y'all for all of this time, now it's let's have a kumbaya moment. Now it's the suits. It's never Earl's fault. It's the suits. It's not no one's fault now. It's not the fighter's fault. We have been saying that, fight fans, for as far back as I can remember. But now y'all want to have a damn kumbaya moment because my boy pulled a power move on you. Let's keep this shit going, shall we? So the word on the curb is that Terence Crawford might be making about 8 figures for this fight. Why is this a power move, man? I'll tell you why. Terence Crawford's stock was already high coming off of the Sean Porter fight, right? $6 million payday. That was already blowing out the PBC, overloading the PBC circuits right there. That was already overloading this. Oh my gosh, if we get this guy up here, he's going to want that. We don't want to give him that. That's already overloading their circuits. Now we're talking about 8 figures, so he's going up. So when he's done with Avaneysan and he turns back to the PBC and he said, "Well, I went from 6 to 10. What are y'all talking about? What are y'all going to do, PBC?" No one goes backwards. No one takes a harder challenge for lesser money. His stock is up. He's making 8 figures. Can you match it? While you offering Canelo $50 million, while you are paying Caleb Plant what you are paying him and forgetting about the Andrade and Charlo fights, can you fucking match it? That's the beast that y'all have created. Y'all have now created a beast. The man is #1 pound for pound, Hall of Fame bound, and now clocking the biggest checks at 147. And that ain't nothing but facts. Y'all have created a beast. How you gonna deal with him now? How you gonna deal with him now? I want to see this. Oh, well, you know, we don't want to insult the guy. Well, if you didn't want to insult the guy coming off of a $6 million payday, well, are you going to insult him now coming off of an 8-figure payday? Riddle me that. I don't know this streaming service called Black Prime. Never heard of them before. I'm starting to do my homework on it a little bit more, and hopefully I'll be able to present more facts about them in a future video, fight fans. But I don't know really much about this Black Prime. I'm hearing little whispers about them. I'm not really trying to speak much about it until I got the facts. But for the fact of the matter that this man is going to an organization called Black Prime and his own, and they called him what? They called him slave. They called him coon. They called him what? And he doing what? He's aligning with who? The fake false narratives out here is insane, fight fans. See, the deal is they don't know the definition of free around this sumbitch. Man, what are you talking about? The word free, F-R-E-E, free, as in freedom, as in you're your own boss, as in you're your own man, as in I don't have to pick up the phone and call Al. Y'all do. Y'all got to march to that beat. I'm a free man. I do what I want around this bitch. I don't have to call nobody and check in. I move how I want to move. I fight where I want to fight. I make what I want to make. And just because y'all got to do business in lockstep and wait for your opportunities, Keith Thurman can't get a date, Adrian Bronner going half crazy. Just because y'all got to sit down and wait and take what they tell y'all don't mean that that man got to do that. I'm just saying. Look at Keith. Man, I want to fight. Look at Keith. Keith trying to butt into Earl and Crawford's business. He trying to get some relevance. Look at Keith. Keith can't get a fight. Look at AB. Can't get a fight. Y'all want Crawford to be like that? Hell nah. He waited 11 months. And so what it is, Slim gonna go do what he do. And I'm sure once this whole Avaneysan situation is over, he's going to pivot back to them as a free man because he can move like that. He's going to pivot back to them and say, are you ready now? Now, here's the deal, fight fans. And I'm going to get to some of y'all comments and salute to everyone that's up in here. I see Black Ham up in here. I see D-Lo up in here. I see General Long up in here. I got Red up in here. Malachi, I see you. And I'm going to get to y'all comments in 1 second. But Errol Spence Jr., now that we know what Terence Crawford is doing, fight fans, we know he's going to clock major bags by getting rid of David Avaneysan. And salute to David Avaneysan, who is a respectable opponent. David Avaneysan was well sought out of by many outfits, fight fans. Eddie Hearn was seeking him out. Different entities were seeking out David Avaneysan due to his ranking. So Terence Crawford plucked him off. Like I told y'all in the video, and I'm going to get to Spence in a second. Like I told y'all in the video, Anyone else could have stepped up. Where is the mandatory paperwork, fight fans? While all of you little cluckerheads are running around here with this BS about, well, why didn't he fight Virgil? Or why didn't he fight Boots? Here's my question. Because y'all know we move on facts on this platform. We move on facts on this foundation over here. Here's my question to you. Where is the fucking paperwork? Where is Virgil Ortiz's paperwork? Virgil has been number one not once but twice. Where is the paperwork? Where is the wherewithal from Virgil Ortiz and Oscar De La Hoya that say we want the Crawford fight? Do you have proof? Do you have proof? That is always going to be my question. What's your proof? I got proof. I got Terence Crawford sitting ringside right at Virgil Ortiz's fight, looking Virgil Ortiz dead in the eye, and Virgil Ortiz didn't do shit. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I'm back like a mug. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Damn it, man. Now, I wasn't talking. I stopped. I seen when the it kind of went out. I'm using my car's Wi-Fi, fight fans. I'm literally driving as we chopping it up, man. So thank y'all for the heads up. D-Lo, what's up, my G? Thank you for the heads up, D-Lo. Much love, bro. Much love, and thank you very much. I got my OG up in here, Muhammad Hamatola, man. So let me pick up where I left off, fight fans. What's up, man? I left off talking about Jerron Boots Ennis. And what I was saying was, as far as like anyone who was thinking that Terence Crawford should face Virgil Ortiz, I'm asking for the proof. You know what I mean? That Virgil actually wants to fight. We know that Virgil, Haymon, as well as Ryan Garcia, they all playing high go seek right now. They're all playing high go seek, fight fans. They're talking from a safe space, and none of them actually want no smoke. Jaime Munguia didn't want it with Charlo. Ryan didn't want it with Devin, and I'm doubting if he wanted it with Javante. And we know that Virgil Ortiz never put any sort of paperwork, just all lip service, thanks to the guidance of Oscar De La Hoya, but he never did his part to pursue this fight. And those are the facts. If anyone have anything objective to say about that, let me know. And show me your proof. Because I got mine. You do too. Terence Crawford sitting ringside. As for Jerron Boots Ennis, same thing. Like I said, he deals with Showtime. He just did a new deal. He deals with PBC. The same people will have to go through, Terence Crawford will have to go through to get that fight. And we know that PBC is doing everything in-house. Terence Crawford doesn't belong to PBC. Will they stir Jaron Boots Ennis towards him? Now, according to the reports, fight fans, look like we got a little bit of development here. Turns out that Mike Coppinger, who broke this story, might I add, Mike Coppinger has now came out and told everyone that Errol Spence is reportedly possibly going to face Iamantis Stanionis. Let me read what Michael Benson, not Michael Coppinger, Michael Benson. He says that Errol Spence reportedly could now face Iamantis Stanionis next as Terence Crawford is fighting David Avaneysan. It's claimed that Al Haymon and Stanionis' reps have had talks, though it's also possible that Spence could wait for Crawford, according to Mike Coppinger. So it looks like that if they don't decide to wait for Terence Crawford, that they're looking to possibly go towards Iamantis Stanionis. So let me make sure I got this right, Spence fans. And y'all tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm lying, Mainman, that's incorrect. I don't mind the feedback. But let me make sure I got this right. We're gonna have Errol Spence, your so-called #1 welterweight, correct? The so-called #1 welterweight hasn't even fought the #2 guy in Terence Crawford, haven't even fought the #3 guy in Keith Thurman, and now he's gonna avoid Boots and go after Iamantis Stanionis. Am I right or am I wrong? Am I right or am I wrong? How do you consider yourself #1 of a class when you have not beat the top 2 guys under you, fight fans? How does that happen? I call Terence Crawford #1 because he wiped out a class. I don't have a victory for Earl over Keith. I don't have a victory for Earl over Terence. And now Jaron Boots Ennis, the hottest fighter at 147 pounds, and we all know that IBF mandatory has been due since 2019. So we're going to say Boots doesn't exist. Y'all want to put Boots on Crawford when Crawford is not part of his outfit, yet Errol Spence Jr. is, and correct me if I'm wrong, fight fans, was not Errol Spence Jr. ringside at his last fight? Yes or no? Yes or no? So the question that I have is, you mean to tell me that he's going to take easy Stanley Onions, little Stanley Onions? He going to beat up on little Stanley Onions and say, screw Boots, screw Keith, and screw Terrence, huh? That's the way we moving out here, fight fans. That's what PBC is doing to protect the Texas market, and y'all letting that shit happen, Spence fans. Correct me if I'm wrong. When I say, yo, they want to protect their little Texas market, they scared for Terence Crawford to come and knock their little Texas fight out off the mantle. Y'all say, yo, man, you tripping. Earl is the truth. He is this. They is this. And yet, instead of fighting the next big whirlwind at 147, since you're not fighting the 2 elite fighters, you fighting Stanley Onions. Where they do that at, fight fans? How is that not seen as a epic duck? You could at least say, you know what, if we're not going to do this, then fuck it, bring on Keith. Or bring on Boots. But you going to go fight Stanley Onions? Get out of here, man. I don't want to hear one Errol Spence Jr. fan speaking about this Avaneysan fight when your boy about to fight Stanley Onions. I don't want to hear none of y'all say nothing. This is not the behavior of a #1 seeded fighter fighting some unknown dude. Oh man, but he took step aside money. Yeah, well, Boots is mandatory is older than that step aside deal. It goes back to 2019. Hell, now we got 2 fighters who's now been the mandatory for Spence, and he ain't 40-1. But he gonna go fight Stanley Onions. And y'all gonna be cool with it. Oh, well, you know, it's all right because, you know, they took a step-aside deal, man. Yeah, forget about Boots, forget about Keith, forget about Terrence. But he's the #1 welterweight. If I'm lying, tell me where I'm lying at, fight fans, because I can't see it. So I don't get it, man. I don't get it. But back to Errol Spence, you know, you don't do that, bro. That just and see, Errol Spence is now going to be caught in a very, very bad situation because you are now wasting time at 147. You are growing bigger and bigger. You know that weight cut is hurting you more and more and more. If anyone should be disappointed with all of this stuff falling, like being kicked down to 2023, which they were expecting anyway, fight fans. They were expecting that anyway. All right, this fight, once it passed November, it was going to early next year anyway. But my thing is, bro, Earl, man, you can't be sitting around wasting that much time at 47 and you know it. And you know it. Y'all talk about Crawford's age. Crawford say, I'm going to stay active. They not going to age me out. They not going to have me sitting over here, my bones cracking, and I'm sitting over here chilling. Nah, then they going to try to spring a fight on me. So, nah, we're not doing that. I'm going to stay active the same way that Tyson Fury didn't do that shit. Tyson Fury said, I'm not waiting around for y'all. Hell to the nah, I'm going to take me an interim fight. Y'all sit around and do the crazy shit of thinking y'all Superman and want to keep taking it. I'm going to take an interim fight and stay active. Ain't nobody playing these games. And now PBC is now, and Earl is in a situation where, well, the fight is going to happen next year. Earl's going to be struggling with the weight even more. And now y'all got to probably even pay Terence Crawford more money because he's clocking more dollars. It's a bad situation. Let me see what some of the fam is talking about. Salute to you all, man, and much love to the fam, man. Much love to the fam. What we going to start with first? Oh, Lord. Mike, what's up with you, champion? What's up with you, man? He says, you can make any excuses you all want to this man is a duck, and he was ducking behind the scenes, making a fight with another bum. Say what you want, but spell my name right. Bro, I ain't spelling your damn name, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's called stop bullshitting. Guess what, Mike? The same video that I would have made for Crawford and Spence today, I was making 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months ago. No progression, bro. Nobody got time for this shit. All right, look, at the end of the day, the fight's still going on. They still got some sausage making, if you will, to do. They got to find some money, bruh. Why are you so critical of Crawford when he's the one that's getting the deal, the worst deal of the century? Why aren't you speaking about the fact that they didn't come correct to the table? Why is that just an overlooked fact? The same way you overlook Lil Mike. The same way you overlook Crawford coming to his fight and you thought it didn't mean anything. The same way when Crawford comes to Texas, Earl goes on vacation, you don't say anything, Mike. You don't say nothing. But the second that Terence Crawford says, I'm fed up and I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, you want to call him everything but a child of God. But you just overlook so much stuff. See, Mike, I would probably listen with a different ear if you once have said, you know what, that was wrong. He was wrong for this, or he was wrong. You give him passes on everything, champ. When that man says 60-30, 70-30, 80-20, a 2-year-long running joke, you was with it. You was laughing right with him, wasn't you? And then he come out and he burst everybody. Boy, it was just a joke. But damn. Y'all were hammering that point like it was no tomorrow. Right, Mike? And then guess what? When he came out and said it was a joke, did you say that that was wrong? Did you say that that was stalling tactics? Did you say that he was trying to keep Terence Crawford away with that crap 70-30, 80-20? Did you hold him accountable for any of that? I'm willing to bet that the answer is no. I'm willing to bet that the answer is no, Mike. Yes, sir. Hey, Red and D-Lo going back. Okay. Malachi 727 says, yo, man, I blame the promoters. As you should. As you should. Now, as much as tempting as it is for me to rip Errol Spence Jr. apart, I'm technically not doing that, fight fans. I'm actually not. I'm not going to stoop to the level of the Spence fans. And I'm actually still on board with the notion that it is the suits. But my eyes sometimes do kind of cut a little bit. Like, Sure, Earl ain't got nothing to do with it. You sure about that, right? You sure about that? But for me, I blame the suits, man. My deal is they have been against him since day one. I can't. It's hard pressed for me to find positive statements coming from the suits when it comes to this fight. The only one that's been trying to stay positive about it has been Steven Espinoza. And shit, it ain't even a guarantee from what I'm understanding that Steven will even get the fight. So, I mean, Fox, and y'all got to understand something. The Cowboys line themselves up with Fox, too. Jerry's sitting over there wondering what's up with him, too. Jerry Jones sitting back like, hey, I've been good to Earl. Why can't we get the fight? Fox is saying we built Earl. We put on all of his big fights. Why can't we get the fight? You know? So, I mean, it's hard pressed for me to find a suit that's really positive about this. You know, so that lets you know something. They're the ones that put the notion in a lot of boxing fans' minds. Oh, well, Crawford can't sell, and this fight ain't this, and this fight ain't that. We just literally threw the notion out the window of it takes two to tango. That rule doesn't even apply in this fight no more. Everyone just we play blind to that notion. They say Deontay Wilder didn't do so well the other day against Robert Helenius. Well, guess what though? Who the fuck is Robert Helenius? Am I gonna hold that against Deontay Wilder? Absolutely not. Who the hell is Robert Helenius? You know, everybody who called me up about the Deontay Wilder, man, hey, who he was fighting the white dude that looked like Tyson Fury. That's what they call him. And we wonder why his numbers ain't jumping off the paper. It takes two to tango, fight fans, especially in today's boxing climate where piracy is running rampant. We all know that. But y'all take Terence Crawford, who was fighting on an app, who was supposed to lead the ESPN Plus app. He was fighting nobodies that no one ever heard of. They were accomplished fighters, sure. And you will have to be a diehard to know a lot of them. But that don't mean that they were bums. And that don't mean that Terence Crawford can't sell. It's just he never had the dance partner. He did not go down to 135 and pull up Devin Haney the way that Errol Spence Jr. went down there and pulled up Little Mike. If I'm lying, tell me I'm lying. I just want somebody to tell me I'm lying, please. I haven't seen that comment come across yet. Is it there? See, Terence Crawford didn't do what Earl did to get hot. Terence used his hands to get hot. Earl had to get a 35-pounder in a day to be great fight. Sorry. Ain't but so many of them to go around, fight fans. Devin Haney wasn't available. You know what I'm saying? Rolly Romero wasn't available. Gervonta Davis wasn't available. Sorry. Maybe Terence Crawford versus Ryan Garcia, but he wasn't available. I mean, what y'all want the man to do? Earl had to go get a 35-pounder to get hot. And on top of that, he had the Dallas Cowboys, and the numbers are just okay. What they talking about? What they talking about, Red? What they talking about, Red? What they talking about? I got my homie, General Long, on deck up in our house. He got ducks all over the place. He got ducks all over the place, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. General Long, what's up, champ? He say, yo, man, did Earl have a chance to speak at his fight? Deal like what? Did Earl had a chance to speak at whose fight? Because when Terence Crawford looked at Errol Spence, when Earl came to Terence fight, Earl was already halfway down the freeway and pulling out his airport ticket ready to get on a plane. The second that Terence Crawford looked towards the audience to try to give Earl some spotlight, Earl, all he saw was a puff of smoke. So what are you talking about, General Long? Huh? What are you talking about? That was his chance. He ran out the fucking building. Now, let's reverse this. When Crawford was in the building, Crawford got to fight through security and go through the line and try to kick people over and get it out of the way just so he could try to get to the ring. And they still shut him down. So I don't understand this, bro. Like, you talking about did he have a chance to speak? If you're talking about at Crawford's fight, hell yeah. Hell yeah, General Long. He had more than a chance to speak, and you know this, man. You know this. He had more than enough chance to speak, bro. I mean, come on, man. He says, yo, man, I can't believe you defending this shit, bro. Bro, I'm defending it because the man has done everything. There is nothing left to do at this point. If there is no fight going into until early next year, what are you expecting him to do, General Long? Okay, let's go to some reporting, because clearly y'all not hearing Mainman Mademan. So let's go to some reporting. So yesterday, Boxing Scene dropped an article. Now, I didn't do a video on it. I just didn't have the time, fight fans. I wish I did, though. Boxing Scene had dropped an article yesterday because, clearly, word got out that Terence Crawford was making some sort of moves and must have got back to the Spence camp. And so, PBC has a very, very cozy working relationship with Boxing Scene. So a weird-ass article came out of nowhere, fight fans. I mean, came out of nowhere. So let's read this, because according to this article, right, they're saying that the lawyers for Errol Spence, basically in a nutshell, that the lawyer for Terence Crawford had some issues with the contract, right? I'll read it. I guess I'll just read it so we won't mix any of this up. When Errol Spence Jr.'s representative sent back another revised contract to Terence Crawford's attorney early this month, those working on Spence's behalf were optimistic that it would lead to the consummation of a deal for the unbeaten welterweight champion. Let's go on down some. The most recent 3 changes that Crawford's attorneys requested, none of which were considered a major deal point, were made, and he hasn't responded. However, to Spence's representative in 2 weeks since he sent the revised contract. So Crawford's side requested some changes. 3 changes according to this article. It turns out that Spence's representative says they made those changes and they sent the contract back to Terence Crawford, and they didn't hear anything after that. Things kind of went silent. It says that Boxing Scene has learned that the recent silence from the lawyer negotiating on Crawford's behalf has caused growing concerns on Spence's side that Crawford team isn't committed to completing a deal for the most meaningful non-heavyweight fight in boxing. Okay, let's keep on going. It says that Boxing Scene has been informed that Spence's handlers believe that they have made all of the changes that Crawford's attorneys has requested and are perplexed, fight fans, as to why he hasn't gotten back to them. Okay. Let's keep on going. It says this. This is the paragraph I've been looking for. It says that Terence Crawford's attorney early this month. I'm sorry, let me just start at the top. When Errol Spence Jr.'s representative sent back another revised contract to Terence Crawford's attorney early this month, those working on Spence's behalf were optimistic that it would lead to the consummation of a deal for the unbeaten welterweight champion to finally fight at some point in early 2023. I want to run that back one more time. When Errol Spence Jr.'s representative sent back another revised contract to Terence Crawford's attorney early this month, those working on Spence's behalf were optimistic that it would lead to the consummation of a deal for the unbeaten welterweight champions to finally fight at some point in early 2023. Did y'all catch that, fight fans? So that means that the revised contract that's being sent back and forth, fight fans, the fight ain't being talked about happening into 2023 per the words of that article. So if Terence Crawford has got to wait to 2023 for whatever deal to finish and be finalized, and this is when the fight is going to happen, why is he wrong for taking an interim fight? 2023, fight fans? How long would Terence Crawford have been out the ring? So he knows, well, they're not talking about fighting no time soon. They're talking about 2023 sometime. And they still got a lot of details that I'm looking for. So guess what? Y'all got an unfinished product. Y'all not really ready to go for real. So guess what? I'm going to go do this real quick. Raise my stock. And then come on back around, because that contract that y'all got going to be null and void once Terence Crawford coming back asking for more money. Oh, stock is high. Stock is high. So the man, what they wasn't gonna fight this year at all, fight fans. 2023. So what's wrong with Terence Crawford taking an interim fight? So he won't be aged out. So he won't be rusty. So he can be ready to go. Why y'all don't like that, huh? Y'all wanted him rusty sitting on the sideline? The fight ain't dead. He's just not playing their game. I want to give a major salute to the homie Dirty Red in that super chat, man. Thank you for your support, Red. Much love to you, Red. Always, homie, always. This is why boxing is declining rapidly. Things always make sense for the people making money, but never to the fans, no matter who's really at fault. That is facts. That is facts. And that's exactly why, you know, I called on months ago, bro. I seen the game of that. That's why I withdrew from a lot of stuff when it came to Crawford and Spence. You know, joining platforms and getting into debates and all of this stuff. The reason I stopped, one of the main reasons, is because I seen them using us like fucking tools. And I wasn't going to play that game no more. How many times have y'all heard me sit up on here and say, I'm not playing this game no more. I see what's going on here. And they're playing us like fools and tools. Fools and tools. All we doing as we sit here argue is giving them cover. That's all you're doing. When you say it's Terence Crawford's fault, when you say Terence Crawford is a diva, he's this, he's that, you are giving them cover. That's all you're doing. And that's why I don't participate no more. Because it's going nowhere fast. And all they're doing is sitting back, laughing at our ass, just for them to go and do something else. It's almost real reminiscent, very reminiscent of when Errol Spence and Terence Crawford had the hottest moment in boxing by meeting in the hallway, only for Earl to take that hype and spotlight and go and fight Mikey Garcia. You see what I'm saying? Hype to build the name, just to go and do something else. We've been talking about Spence and Crawford since forever, only to see Earl go and face Jordanis Ugas. Only to see Earl do everything else under the sun and even willing to rematch Sean Porter. Little do we forget. He was willing to do everything under the sun except face Terence Crawford and Keith Thurman. So I'm done with that shit, bro. Until we get a fight, I'm not doing it like I used to do. I used to jump on platforms, go everywhere, go all over the place, get into all these arguments and debates just for the fun of it. But bro, all this is doing is just raising the name and stock of some fighter, thinking that he gonna fight the fighters that we like, only just to see him go and do something else. Clout chasing. I'm sick of that shit, bro. I am no one's tool. I don't give a damn who you are. PBC, ABC, DVD. Matchroom, Top Rank. I don't give a damn. I am here for the boxing fan. And if the boxing fan gets mistreated, then fuck them all. Y'all ain't got to ride with me on that. That's just Mainman Mademan. I'm not like these other platforms. A lot of these guys are bought and paid for. They've tried, but they can't. You get me? Much love to the fam, man. Much love to the fam. Yes, sir. Hold on. We got a couple more fam supporting, man. Let me get to every last one of y'all, man. Salute to the homie Keith White and that super sticker, man. Thank you for your support, Keith. And much love to you, my G. Much love to you, my G. That's my brother's name, bro. That's cool, man. My brother, I got a brother named Keith. You know what I'm saying? And salute to you and thank you for your support, my G. Thank you, man. Lost D Punch Out TV is in our house. What's up, my man? How you doing, man? It's different for me. I live in the UK, and salute to my UK brethren. It's different for me. I live in the UK, but I know that it means more for you US brothers. But for me, David Avaneysan versus Bud is a good fight just for me. Yeah, bro. Hey, Lost D. David Avaneysan is a good fighter. He is a good fighter. I mean, that's just getting lost in the narrative right now. And I'm sure as we get a little bit closer to the fight and the weight of the fight start weighing down on us, more people will take a closer look at David Avaneysan and see that he's no slouch. That's going to happen in due time. Right now, it's kind of like at that shock period where people just like, oh, I can't believe it, we're not getting Spence and Crawford. But once the shock kind of wears off, people are going to start to do their homework on David Avaneysan. You're going to see why he was sought out and tried to get guys like Conor Ben. I know Conor Ben wanted that fight. We all know that Virgil Ortiz wanted that fight. Matter of fact, Virgil Ortiz and Conor Ben were kind of like their teams were offering David Avaneysan everything under the sun from both sides. David Avaneysan is a very good fighter, man, and Terence Crawford is definitely going to have to be on his A game, man. And this is why I love the UK boxing fans, man. Y'all see things for what they are. Y'all look at the skill level. Y'all look at the pedigrees. Y'all not concerned about the trash talk and and all of the stupid shit. Who getting paid what and all that. Y'all worried about, man, the pedigree of a fighter. Much love, much respect, man. Much love and much respect. You know what I'm saying? Real spill. Real spill. Let me make sure I ain't leaving nobody out, man. I seen one more. Hey, there go my boy Lenar, man. Lenar, what say you, man? What say you? Please drop the link. I got to cook. You know Lenar do. I got to give Lenar his moment. I gotta give Lenar his moment. D-Lo, did you ask for the link at 12? Feel free, D-Lo. Feel free to all of the fam out there. I got Zion. Zion, my main man. What's up, DJ Zion Love up in our house? What's up, man? Yeah, feel free. I'm gonna drop that link if some of the fam want to come on through and give me some feedback on this. Feel free. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. D-Lo says, what most don't realize is the Avaneysan is a risky fight for an inactive bud. Inactivity has been hurting lots of these fighters lately. 100%. 100%, bro. Sitting on the couch, chilling, you know what I mean? And inactivity, especially for a older fighter, a guy that's older, that is the worst thing in the world. And I'm so glad that Terence Crawford did not sit around and let them just ice him on the sidelines like that. I mean, because Lord knows, clearly, fight fans, if you don't believe Mainman, then go to the boxing scene article and you see that the fight wasn't being planned to 2023. That's how long of Crawford doing nothing. How long? Now, Errol Spence might have been good with that. I get it. And even in Spence's case right now, like, he going to have to go take a fight. He can't just sit around and do nothing either. In that case, man, it's like, you got to do what you got to do. And especially for fucking 8 figures. He ain't talking about doing this for, $1 million or some weird guarantee that we don't know if it's there or not. They're talking about 8 figures for David freaking Avaneysan. This is all right. We back. Sorry, fight fans drove through a tunnel. Drove through a tunnel. Sorry about that. Driving. I'm on the road as we speak, fight fans. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a second and I'm gonna do this right here while we good to go. And I'm gonna listen to y'all as I drive. I want to hear what the fam got to say about this. Link in the chat, fight fans. D-Lo, you got time. Dirty Red, you got time. Zion, you got time. Lenar, you got time. Any of my fam out there, you got time. KP from KC5 in our house. Two Will Slim, you got time. Any of the fam, you got time. Come on through. Holler at the homie, man. Let me know how you feel about this. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we got the first one on deck in our house. What's up, Lenar?
You tell me what's up. What's up with your boy? You tell me
Hey
what's
man,
up, man.
it's a power move, bro. It's a power move.
Man, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. I thought you
How?
better than this.
Tell me
Okay,
what is he doing wrong? Let me know
okay,
what is wrong about this, Lana.
okay. So Spence sent the revised contract over 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, he sent the revised contract. You mean to tell me within 2 weeks' time, Crawford could not have saw the contract and said, okay, this is something that I agree with? Because according to the article, if we go based off of that, they met his demands. So you're telling me within those 2 weeks' time, Crawford didn't see the contract at all and just said, you know what, I'm just going to fight Avaneysan.
First off, I don't know if they met his demands. The article said that they revised some things, but we don't know if all of Crawford's demands were met. That's first off. Second
The
off,
article says that the things that
they
were holding up
revised
the
it.
fight, they met. So that means they revised it and they met those things that were holding up the fight.
But we don't know exactly to what revision that they did that to. Like you don't know what he was
It's
asking, and you don't know
it's
what they
it,
changed.
well, that's what they just said. They said his demands, the three things that could have possibly helped the fight, they fixed and got right. So that only means they fixed the things that were holding up the fight.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but over like 2 or 3 weeks ago, was not Crawford and his team out here sending a message to the public that they don't know what's going on?
That's what I was saying. His team don't know what was going on. His
So
team, but
how?
again, his team, not Crawford. His team.
Okay, great. But according to some people, that they said that Crawford was passing these messages to them that he wasn't getting his properly due, and not to mention his team is speaking for him. Crawford didn't come out
He.
and object to
Oh,
any of this stuff. Now, did he?
oh, so he say, she say. That's what you're
No,
going by.
no? I'm going by. Did Crawford say any of this was false?
So exactly, he didn't say anything. So
So
that's neither here nor there.
The Mike Carpenter articles came out. Team Crawford is saying one thing, and Crawford has not shot down one of these accusations, and
Okay.
we are supposed to believe it ain't true. If it
And he,
wasn't true, would not Terence Crawford come out and say, "Hey, this is not true," and boom, boom, boom?
fine. So if you go with that logic, you also can't say that Crawford shouldn't Crawford come out and shut down the notion that the contract was set 2 weeks ago.
No, because 2 weeks ago he was saying
Why?
that he was in the dock because he just was saying he was in the dock two
No,
weeks
no.
ago.
That's he say. No. I got to hear from Crawford because it's
But
two
you don't
different
hear
things.
him.
Because
But you
hold on.
don't
Because
hear
Crawford,
him
oh,
objecting.
Crawford, man, Crawford himself said, "Oh, that," and in response, that he said, "Oh, Spence doesn't want to fight nowhere near as bad." And this is words out of Crawford's mouth, so we know that's actually a quote from Crawford, right? But
Okay. He said he
before
spoke to
a
Al.
couple
He
weeks
said he
ago,
spoke to Al and Earl. He ain't heard from them since June.
uh,
That's
so
what he said.
so so we know, so we can take that. It was not what he said, but he said that they started negotiating in June. But recently, yesterday, when whoever he spoke to, he said that this is exactly what he said. He said it's a shame, basically, that the Spence does not want this fight as badly as I want it. Remember, you know that quote that came out, right?
Okay.
Okay, but a couple weeks ago, you have Crawford coming out, allegedly coming out. I guess it's his team coming out and saying, well, I don't know he said this before, but we're talking about during negotiations recently, saying that, oh, it's not Spence that doesn't want to fight. I believe Spence wants to fight because Bernie the Boxer came out and said that. But I believe he's a PBC. So which one is it? Is it Spence or is it PBC? And that's what I'm trying to tell you. There's a lot of contradictory things that are going on in that camp.
Bro,
And
you
this,
playing no, so,
what?
Lenard, you playing really down to the syllable, bro. You
But
going
that's what you
way
have to
down.
do.
No,
I have to.
that's not what you got to do. What you got to do is realize that Terence Crawford ain't happy, right? He's settling for less, and something better came along while they were BSing. That's the bottom line, bro. You going down to, oh, he's talking to that exactly that guy. He's talking to that, bro. The point of the matter is, for 11 months, this ain't been like a 2 week thing. This has been 11 months. They have not been able to satisfy both sides. So all of a sudden, the last 2 weeks, they came up with a magical deal that they could not find in 11 months.
So we tell me within those last 2 weeks, Crawford could I say, you know what? Yep. Because again, I'm going based off the article because that's the only evidence we have. Because you like to go based off of articles, so I'm gonna do the
Mm-hmm.
same thing. So
Well, guess
it
what?
got
Maybe
revived. You
he's
tell me
tired of
within the
that.
beginning, so the beginning of around the beginning of October, you're telling me Crawford never laid eyes on on that contract. This is what you're saying. You're telling me
I'm telling you, he's
within
not
2 weeks.
happy about whatever the situation is.
But how,
They were
man, that
not
doesn't make
able to
sense.
close.
It's
They how does it make sense when he said one time you had Crawford out here talking about, or at least the message coming out of his team. I agreed to everything. I agreed. I agreed. Still, I don't have anything. What more? I mean, look, he's
okay.
not going to just
Name
sit around, bro, and on his hands and do
So if
nothing.
you go, so if you're going based off the article, that's what I'm saying. You're not listening. If you're going based off of the article, if that's what you're going to go by, because you go by, it's almost like boxing fans have selective reasoning. They'll choose what they want to go about with if it fits their narrative. If you're going based off of what the
Up,
article's
y'all?
saying, they met the demands. The three holdups that were holding up the fight, they met those demands. And Crawford's the one who said, more like you saw the contract.
Hello?
How do we know what the demands
You don't
were?
think that he saw that contract. Don't tell me you don't think he saw. You can't sit there and tell me that revised contract. It was not again based off the article. They met his demands. So you can't sit here and tell me within those 2 weeks that he did not see that contract that was revised with what he wanted,
But
and you
but
can't
but the
sit and
point
tell
that
me
you
he
leaving
didn't.
out, but no, Lennar, you leaving out. Crawford was not happy. Do you have any quotes from Terence Crawford that he was ever happy and content with anything that they supposedly offered him? Do you see any agree? Like only thing that we heard about agreement was Crawford agreed to take whatever fuck boy deal that being paid on the net and all that shit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but have you ever seen Terence Crawford running around here acting like that everything was all done and everything was all settled? Have you
Okay,
ever
but
seen that?
man, okay, but that's my point. If you're gonna, because I agree with you. Sometimes you have to go directly with what the fighter is saying, but we don't have any other evidence. We can only go based off of again, like you do as well, depending on the article that comes out. We all do it in boxing. We're just going based off what these insiders and these article guys are saying. That's what we're doing right now. If we're just going based off of the article, because we don't know what Crawford has said, we don't know what his team has said. We know his team has said, "Oh, he's unhappy," but never a direct. We know what these insiders around these guys are saying, but never from directly from the horse's mouth. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Hey,
So if
hey,
you're going based off of
Okay,
the
that's the
article,
decision.
it's
He's
Terence
in the
Crawford
fight.
who pulled out with 2 weeks time. You tell me within 2 weeks you did not see that contract and then signed the David Avaneysan contract. Listen, man, you got to call a spade a spade. I'm not saying that he's ducking Spence, but it doesn't look good for your boy, and he is getting torn up in
man,
these
it
streets.
looks. Hey, for
He
one,
torn up.
I got two things to say to that. One, he don't give a shit about being tore up in the streets when you got a $10 million for your next fight.
Oh yeah, you
Who
know what?
gives a
Shout out to
bro?
him. I
Trust me when
gotta.
I tell you. Hold on. Trust me when I tell you. He don't give a damn about who's saying what or what a Spence. You can't convince a Spence fan.
Hey,
He don't give a
that's
damn.
one thing.
So guess what?
That's
When he come back around and say Spence was good, all of these people that supposedly ripping him apart, they're gonna be down to see the fight.
hey. Listen, I
He
will
know
say
that.
I will give you your credit when it comes to this and Bill Crawford. When it comes to financial business, he does a hell of a job. He does a hell of a job. When it comes to knowing try to get the
But
most he can
so
get out of
why
it,
is once
he,
again why
he
is he
he's not.
wrong for
He,
pulling away?
no. I'm not. Well, I'll get to that. I'm just saying that I got to give Crawford his credit. He is financially smart. Now, when it comes to legacy, that's a different story. His fights, but if we're talking about him actually getting to the bag, I got to give it to Crawford. He's very shrewd, and
Hey,
I got to give him credit.
let me get World McCray and let me get D'Lo up in here, man. Hey, D'Lo just fell off. Oh, we just lost D'Lo.
No, I'm here, man.
Oh, we just lost World McCray. Okay. Oh, let me get D'Lo up in here. D'Lo, what say you, bro?
Hey, one thing I'll say about what Lennar said is, he was talking about made the comment that this is he say she say. I mean, at this point, Lenore, that's all. That's all we can give all these media. You know what I'm saying? These media stories and these
True.
reports. They're all just he say, she say at this
I
point.
agree.
I mean, these jokers they've been wrong on so many fronts and never go back and retract. They just go on to the next story. No different than a lot of these people on YouTube, these breaking news stories. Just go
Yes.
on to the
Mm-hmm.
next story, never go back and say, you know what, I was wrong. You know, I put my foot in my mouth. My source misled me, whatever the case is, just go on. So that's all we can go off of is he say, she say. And it's up
Yeah.
to us what we choose to believe. And a lot of times what people choose to believe is what supports the position they want to believe in the first place.
Facts.
But so with me, a lot of times I'll say if it's true, because I don't know, what I'm saying,
Yeah.
no more than you do or anyone else, when
Yeah.
these things come out. And I can't sit here and condemn a man for saying, okay, I wanted to fight in 2022. You guys talking about pushing the fight to 2023. I got this offer on the table. I'm gonna go ahead and take it because I need to get a fight in. We've seen
And
Bud Crawford go. Hold on. We had seen Bud Crawford go a whole year without a fight since he came on the scene, since he became a champ.
Woo!
So
Facts.
we expect this man to go all of 2022 without a fight, then go roll into the Spence fight with what they're talking about potentially February, and not even get a fight. And then he's not getting like a great, according to reports, and that's what we're gonna go by. And even according to what he said himself, he's not getting what he wants for the Spence fight. He's taking what they're giving him to get the fight done, but then he can't even get that in 2022. So no, I think he's doing what he got to do. I think he's right to take this offer. I just hope it don't end up being a situation like Teofimo Lopez and
Facts.
Cambosos when they went to Triller. That's my biggest
Yes.
concern. Now
so
I'm also concerned that it may be a situation that because he did it, he may not be able to get other fights. But I mean, to be honest, the guy, if we being honest, the dude ain't really been getting the fights he wanted in the first place. Even when the Porter
Mhm.
fight came to the table and it was a mandatory, PBC
Ooh.
didn't want no part of it.
so okay, and in response
That's
to what
all
you
facts. All
yeah,
facts.
in response to you, D-Lo, I want to say this because I want to make this point too. Listen, at this point, whether you're a Crawford fan, Spence fan, any fan, we have to point fingers at everybody. It's not just Spence, it's not just Crawford. When, as boxing fans, when are we gonna put our foot down and say, you know what? I'm just gonna wash my hands of this situation, throw my hands up, and just walk away. We can't let this fight make us crazy. We have been arguing like cats and dogs since the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of this fight. It's gonna be going on 5 years now, half a decade, and we're no closer to this fight than we were five
Wow.
years ago. When
That's
are
a
we just gonna?
reality
When
check.
are we are being like? What's the definition of insanity? We keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. If the fight happens, it happens. Listen,
We'll
as a
see.
Spence fan, I'm blaming Spence. As a Crawford fan, you should blame Crawford. As a Crawford fan myself, I'm blaming Crawford. I'm blaming PBC. I'm blaming everybody. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's one guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's on all ends. And when are we gonna realize as boxing fans they're playing us like a fucking flute? And
Hey,
every
let
time, every
Wow.
time we get our hopes up for something, it's always getting crushed. We think we're one step closer to get pushed back three. We gotta put our foot down and say, you know what? I want to see this fight, but as a boxing fan, I'm not gonna go crazy over this fight. As a man, I'm not gonna go crazy over this fight. If it happens, it happens. But man, we just gotta move on. When are we
But you
gonna
know
say
what, bro?
move on?
I couldn't agree with you more, and that's what I was speaking about earlier about protecting the suits. Because if there's anybody to fault, if you want to say fault, it's the powers that be, bro. It's the ones that got to put this together. They're the one. PBC have the sole response. They wanted Bob out the way. They got their wish. They wanted it on their terms. They got their wish. They wanted control of Crawford. He was willing to do it as long as they willing to deal fair. You know what I'm saying? It was always the suits, bro. In my opinion, and that's
But
what I've been trying to.
let's
Go
not
ahead.
get these fighters out the way too. They both got egos. These are pound for pound top fighters. They both got egos. And at the end of the day, I blame both, man, because there's evidence on both sides. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. You can't tell me it's just one side over the other. You can't
Nah,
sit
I
here and
think it
tell me it's
is.
one side over
I
the
think
other.
it is. I'm gonna say this
You
though.
can't.
Let me take a second to get this super chat, man. Salute to my homie Law J Mo, man, for that support. Thank you, J Mo. Much love to you, man. He say, look, if Spence went and did the same thing and fought a nobody for 10 mil, you would have a problem with that, main man. Stop it. First off, no, not after an 11-month negotiation, bro. That's just like when Tyson Fury took the second to go fight. What was the dude, Schwartz or one of them dudes or whoever he fought,
Schwartz
and
and Wally.
Wilding, like it was a drawn out process. When if the process is getting to a point of just not making no sense, of course they can take interim fights. You know what I'm saying? My thing is, Terence Crawford has tried several times at this point, and he's waited around for quite a long. It's not like he took the first thing or went a month later or 2 months later, bro. We almost a year later, and the man is 35 years old. He
Man,
ain't
you
got
still,
that time.
man, you still on that train, huh? Man,
Yeah, he's 35.
I done seen it for what it is a long time ago, man. It's both these dudes, and I'm not gonna
Bro,
sit here.
but you missing a point about PBC are the ones that are responsible though, bro.
No, listen. My pitchfork is pointed to everybody, not just the fighters themselves. I'm talking about everybody. Everybody has played a hand in this delayed of a fight, and it may not happen.
Uh,
That's what I'm trying to tell you, man. When are we gotta just step back from it all. Take a look
hey,
back and look what we're doing. We're fighting like fucking fools for a fight that's
okay, let
not
me
even
ask y'all
happening.
this.
I
Let
ain't
me let me
fighting
pose this.
nobody.
Let me pose this to both of y'all. How we feeling about Earl Spence versus Stanionis?
Here we go. I'm not feeling. Listen, I want to see Spence versus Thurman, but it looks like Stacey Owens going to enforce that. So we're not going to get a big pay-per-view fight with Thurman, and I'm upset
Why
about
not
that.
Thurman? Why not Thurman? Why not
Oh,
Boots? Why are we talking
let me,
about
let me
Stanley Onions?
okay. Let me tell you because I think well again because I just saw some quotes a couple hours saying that Al Heyman and they've talked with Al Heyman people has talked with Stacey Owens and they've been talking. They've talked. So I
Well, why not
and
Keith? Why not
another
Keith?
I agree. I'm about to get into it right now. Um, and another thing that Station a quote came out. Station is he's already stepped aside. He's going to step aside again for the Crawford fight, but that has fell through. So now he's going to enforce it. That's what I saw. And why not Keith? Well, why not Keith? I mean, I would love to see Keith. I really, man, I don't want it because this is a fresh opportunity. If Spence and Crawford are going to fight springtime of next year, I don't want to say Keith is a tune-up for Spence, but Spence can already get that cleared up the way because I would favor him. Not an easy fight by any means, but I would
I
favor
mean,
him to
no
get
one
that
can
fight.
say a reason they're not doing it outside of money. Like it must be they don't have the money, but
I,
why
I,
wouldn't they want to do that fight?
But bro, I'm gonna be disappointed if we get. Okay. It's like I'll get hit with two blows. I got hit with the blow that Crawford fight's not happening, and I got hit with the blow that Thurman fight's not happening. If they make Spence versus Stacionis as a boxing fan, if they make that fight before they make Spence versus Thurman, that's gonna be a final blow for me
let
because
me chime in.
of course I want to see that fight, huh?
Let me respond to that. Like
Yeah.
for me, one of my biggest issues with the way watching these negotiations drag out like they were, I got to a point where I started saying to myself, "Man, you know what? We ain't gonna see either one of these guys fight again in 2022." And I started to have a bigger problem with that than I did with them not making a fight. So to me, if they're not gonna fight each other, and if there's a possibility that both of these guys will get a fight in 2022, and then Stanionis got to be one of the guys, if it's um um Bud versus David Avaneysan, who I don't think is a nobody, and then Spence has to fight Stanionis, I'm good with that. But I'm better with it if it's happening with the means of them guys having another fight in between them trying to fight each other. Now, whether they're gonna fight each other next or not, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. They're saying Spence is talking about moving up, but that's all hearsay. She say, he say, whatever. But to me, Stanionis is a guy that done fought his way into a position. You know what I'm saying? He's already stepped aside. It's only right that if the fight that he stepped aside for doesn't happen next, the man ought to get his opportunity. And to me, I know a lot of people just look at Stanionis as some guy, but to me, that ain't no easy fight. And
Hell no.
If Spence goes out there and makes it an easy fight, then kudos to him. I don't think David Avaneysan is an easy fight for Bud, especially not coming off the couch. I mean, I ain't gonna say coming off the couch because it's Bud, but haven't been in the ring since November last year. Man, David Avaneysan ain't no pushover, man. That'll be like some of these middleweights or super middleweights when David Lemieux was David Lemieux, and them just not having a fight for a year and getting in the ring with David Lemieux, and David Lemieux's been active. You know what I'm saying? That's not necessarily an easy fight. That's not an easy out.
Man, I will say this though. If Spence does fight Stacionis, I think that's a slightly tougher fight for Spence than Avaneysan is for Crawford.
I ain't gonna say that. I mean, they about
Listen,
still. I mean, as far as
Stacionis is
pedigree,
undefeated.
I think from a pedigree
he
standpoint,
got
I
that
like
good.
Stanionis.
You like Stanionis?
I think
He's a good fighter.
What'd you say? Sorry, D-Lo. What'd you say?
I think I look at Stanionis as like a tier above Mean Machine. You know what I'm saying? Him and Butayev, those guys to me are just one notch above what Mean Machine is.
So who wins?
And I look at Stanionis as, you know, I mean, not Stanionis. I look at David Avaneysan as being on par with Mean Machine, but you can't say that because Mean Machine wiped him out, you know, 6-7 fights ago. You know what I'm saying? Mean Machine ran over him. So who
would? Real quick, if Stacionis and Avaneysan were to fight right now, who would you favor?
50-50, man. 50-50.
That'd be a tough fight, man. From a matchup standpoint, I can't. I gotta be honest and say that over the like I haven't seen David Avaneysan's last few fights. I just see the results, so I can't really say. And then with Stanionis, I've seen a couple of his fights, but I've also seen him look bad. I didn't think Stanionis looked good at all against what's the guy Boots just fought knocked out? Delorme, right? Thomas Delorme?
No. Was it Lipinets?
I think it was Thomas Delorme who Boots fought last.
Oh,
Stanionis to me didn't look good in the Delorme fight, but you know what I'm saying. But he looked great against, you know what I'm saying, Butayev, who I thought was better than Delorme. So you just
his last fight was Castillo. Maybe he beat Castillo Clay.
Oh, Boot. Okay, before the Castillo Clay fight, I think he fought.
Yeah.
I think he fought Delorme.
Yeah.
Listen, man, I just don't understand. Since we know we're not getting the Spencer Crawford fight in both necks, and both fighters can get a so-called tune-up in or another fight in, a stay busy fight, man. We can't have Keith Thurman out the mix.
That's I don't know, bro. I'm gonna be real, bro. When it comes to the Spence and Stanionis fight, I mean, it's okay, but I got mixed feelings on it. I can't honestly sit back and say that I'm all the way cool with it. But
that's a harder fight for Spence than Avaneysan
is. It's too many better fights right next to him. Non-political, no hoops to jump through. It's too easy to make, and it's like,
yeah,
you asking me to turn a blind eye to the Boots and to the Thurman fight.
Yeah,
and it's like I get it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, okay, Stanionis, but bro, we talking about a situation where these fights are like right there to be made. And we talking about Stanionis, bro. You feel me? This is why boxing is where it's at right now. This is why boxing is the niche sport that it is, because these are good opportunities. This is an era, man. All of these dudes supposed to be fighting each other, and we stalling them. Every time I turn around, we're stalling a big fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, why? There's no reason to stall those fights. Okay, if they're gonna do Stanionis and Earl, then there's no reason why we're not talking about Boots and Keith.
Thank you.
Ah, my gosh.
We don't know how it's going to play out.
They should do this. Let me tell you what they should do. They should have Spence and Thurman and Boots and Stacionis as the co-main. That's what they should do. Because
Lenore, the problem with that is you talking about two guys who have fought their way into pretty much a mandatory position, canceling each other out. That's not going to happen. Those guys are managed by Cameron Duncan and Aegis Clemens. They're not going to advise those guys to face each other when both of them are one bout away from having a possibility to be champion. And with Stanionis having stepped aside, man, I just think it's right for a guy who moved out of the way to allow a big fight to happen. 2 fights at that to get his opportunity.
I
But my
listen.
thing
I
is,
agree with you.
has Stanley Onis earned something like this though? I mean, is
WBA,
did he
WBA
go through all the
regular,
necessary steps to fight the number one welterweight?
WBA regular. That's what I mean. The WBA got to clean up this mess. I've been advocating for it. I'm not going to change my position because it's Spence. You know what I'm saying? I want that regular belt. Don't. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it's gonna hang. It's gonna linger around. You know. So if Spence and Crawford were to fight, and then they want to have a rematch or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like get rid of that. If there's an opportunity to go ahead and get rid of it, let's do it. Because you know what I'm saying? It's actually an eyesore and it's an unnecessary evil to me in the sport of boxing. All these extra belts. So it's an
But see,
opportunity
that's
to get rid of it. But they'll bring it right
Oh
back. They're
my
not gonna.
gosh.
They'll bring it right back.
Hey, let's be
yeah.
fair. Keith
This
Thurman
is
never, and I agree with what you're saying, D'Lo. If we're going from the standpoint of what's right, Stacey only deserves his shot now. Like I'm not going to sit there and say he does not deserve his shot. He stepped aside once, and now the mandatory
Twice. He was stepping
the belts
aside
coming
twice
together is
now.
off the table. So he deserves his shot. But just because he deserves his shot doesn't mean I want to see the fight. I'm sorry. It's a different. I would want and I would want to see Spence and Thurman before I see um, uh, Stacey Owens and Spence. That's where I stand at.
it's
You
just a
know,
better fight. It's a better fight.
yeah.
It like I said before, and people take this talking point as funny, but bro, I mean, I really mean it when I say Earl Spence technically hasn't beat the next two best welterweights under him.
He
Like
hasn't.
he gotta
Technically.
get one of them out the way. We talking about he the number one cat out of a weight class. Yet he hasn't. Everyone he's beats are 4, 5s, and 6s. He still ain't beat three,
Or
two.
threes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but you still got to give us the top.
I
And I'm
agree.
like, dog, I'm sick. I'm sick. If Earl talking about going to 54, right, soon, then okay, look, at that very least, you got what, maybe 1, 2 fights left. This fight and maybe the fight with Terence. Okay, cool. Why can't one of them be Keith
I agree. I mean,
before
imagine
you go to 54?
yes, from a technical standpoint, you could say yes, Spence was the number one welterweight, but he didn't never beat number one and number two. I mean,
I agree.
he never had beat them. Again,
He's
you could
never
still
done it.
say so. You could still say you can always have that notch against his legacy. Like, well, yes, was he number one welterweight? Yes, but he never had the number one welterweight resume. Just a single win beating the number one and number two guy. You know what I'm saying? So
He
that's
mimicked Keith. He did exactly what Keith did. He didn't. I don't know if it could be argued if he, I guess, surpassed. I guess you could say did he
he did. No,
surpass
he
Keith
did. No,
at
he
what Keith
did.
did
He
at
did.
welterweight?
He did. But at the
Do we
same,
think
because
that
again,
by how he
because
Keith beat
you
Danny
would have to
and Porter?
you would have to no because you would have to also add Kell Brook
Kell Brook,
And Ugas. But so
and
he
then
did from a
Ugas,
technical,
right?
but he never. But you can always basically what it is if you were to go over if say Spence died tomorrow, if you were to go over his legacy, you could always say, well, would he have beat Crawford? Would he have beat Thurman? Because these guys will still. You can always have it in the back of your mind as a critique, so to speak. Because again, those were the number one and number two guys. So you could always say a knock against it was, would he have beat Crawford? Would he have beat Thurman?
Yeah, that's a good point, Laws D. Laws D says David Avaneysan's last 6 fights have all come by way of knockout. That means he's on a knockout streak. He's dangerous. He's dangerous. He's very dangerous. Terence Crawford gonna have to be on his game with this dude, man.
Hey, this is the
I,
last thing I'll say because I got to head out. Man, listen, it is what it is. We're not going to talk about Spencer Crawford. It's not happening right now. So with Crawford and Avanesian, so we know that's official. Crawford should beat this dude from pillar to post. But we know those in boxing, strange things happen. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
Crawford needs to make sure that he's on his A game. He doesn't have a bad night in the office. And because you can best believe that Avanesian is going to be training like a madman in order to get this victory. We know when a young fighter, or at least a fighter who's never had a title shot, when they first step up, they're going to be giving it their all. And we know Avanesian is going to train. He's going to leave no stones unturned. So
Big
we
facts.
know this. So we're just gonna make sure that Bud is on his game, and so he should win. Because on paper he should be able to wash this dude. So
All right.
yeah,
Before you leave, Lennar, I got
yeah,
one more thing.
yeah. No sound, bro. I can't hear you. Yo, D'Lo, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I can't hear him. He went out for you too?
Yeah, I don't hear him. Mainman, your sound went out again.
Okay, I can't really hear him.
I'll say. Let me say this while you're getting the sound together. You
Yeah.
know, with what you just said about, with the Avaneysan fight not really being that big a deal or whatever, or he's not that much of a threat, but she just run through him. But you did acknowledge why it could be a potentially trap fight, I guess, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Avaneysan, he has had a title fight. He ended up fighting Lamont, and I think I may be mistaken, but I think that's who Lamont won his title against before he fought Spence. Because he had to drop that WBA regular title or something like that. And I think Avaneysan was the guy he won that title against, or either he defended it against him. So they consider those title shots, even though I don't necessarily count those, but they count for something. The networks count them. So, technically he's had a title shot, but, and he's had, some big fight experience. He beat Shane Mosley. He took Josh Kelly's O and stuff like that. But, you know what I'm saying, as far as, I haven't seen Terence Crawford beat anybody pillar to post in a long time. You know what I'm saying? So, that's just being honest. You know what I'm saying? Because it's because of the way he comes out. He doesn't come out and just dominate right away. He kind of takes guys apart over time. So
true. He kind of gets him out there quick.
Right. Yeah. Or he'll get him out, or he'll get him quick. It ain't gonna be no. Yeah. So with Avaneysan being a dangerous fighter, I expect Bud to come out kind of cautious early on. And then plus Bud's been out of the ring a very long time. So I think, even if Bud's able to stop him, I think we won't see a stoppage prior to, say, round 8 or something like that. I think it could go the way of the Benavidez fight. You know what I'm saying? It could potentially be a very late stoppage with some a little ebb and flow in there, because
that's what
this guy's been very active.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, in boxing, how the people say the boxing gods. I don't say gods because I believe there's one god. I don't say gods. I say the boxing kings. They work in mysterious ways. You know how, like, when a top pound for pound fighter fights, you think he was a nobody, and that nobody fucking pushes the other fighter to the edge of his life. I got, you get that gut feeling. You saw, and it's same thing as Spence fights Staciones. On paper, you should beat him convincingly, but at the same time, you just never know. There's things we don't account for.
Right. Like what's the name? What's the guy Devin Haney just fought? Cambosos. He went into the fight versus Teofimo Lopez after having just basically eked out a win over Lee Selby. So, and then of course a lot of things happened in between, dragging the fight out. They got tricked by Triller and all that stuff. Or they tricked Triller and then they got tricked by Triller. So, all of that stuff played into it, but a lot of people weren't expecting that to be a tough fight for Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
I personally picked Teofimo Lopez to win by majority decision because I was looking at the layoff factor. You know what I'm saying? And then another fight, that's kind of the same way. If you look at the fight that who was it that just had a tough fight?
I'm back. Sorry about that.
Hey, go ahead, man. You can go ahead and cook.
I was saying that I wanted to ask. I just wanted to ask. I guess, pose it to both of y'all. The question of, do you think basically these young, hungry fighters was going shopping both of these dudes for a fight towards one another? Because the same way that Lenard was just saying that Crawford is fighting a young, hungry Avaneysan, Stanion is hungry too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Exactly. That's why.
Do you think it sharpens them? Does it sharpen them?
Yes, because in boxing, like we think a top fighter, like I was saying to D-Lo, should be able to wash you, dude. Like nobody thought that Kambosos was going to beat T.O. Nobody thought that. Nobody thought that Ola Wally was going to give Tyson Fury a fight for his life, even though he got cut. But still, it happened. So nobody thought that was going to happen. So we see these things happen in boxing where we think the guy has no shot, no chance, but that fight becomes razor thin close, and the other fighter has to pull out every tool in order to get by him. That's what I'm saying. And I don't want to say no upset because I don't think that's going to happen, but you never know. All I'm saying is I have the gut feeling that in one of these fights, let's say Spence fights Staciones and Crawford fights Avaneysan, that it's going to be closer than what we think. Like they say, the boxing gods work in mysterious ways.
Well,
we just have that gut feeling.
Catterall Taylor was the other fight I was thinking about. Catterall versus Taylor.
Exact Catterall Taylor.
All that
Nobody thought that Catterall was going to
that
lose.
long layoff, and then all of the back and forth, Jim Horn, and all of that back. And the same thing with these guys. They were looking forward to a fight with one another. So sometimes when at the last minute an opponent goes from one person to another, that's hard for guys to get up for too sometimes.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That let's not write off these guys just because they're doing. Some people may not have heard about them, and no, I mean, listen, these fighters need to be taking these guys as serious as they need to take them, because we've seen so many times in the last couple of years, just these dudes come from nowhere and just put up either win or give the other fighter a fight for their life. So let's not count these cats out. Is all I'm saying. So
I agree. I
yeah,
agree. So both fighters got to be on their A game.
exactly. All right, I gotta get out of here. I'll see you guys later.
For sure, man. Hey,
Peace,
thank
man.
y'all for holding the channel down, man. I appreciate it, man. Yes, sir, man. So I'm about to get ready to wrap this on up. I want to give a major shout out to the homie Knockout Boxing 86 TV and Red just came on through. Let me go and give Red some time to cook real quick. But yeah, I'm about to get ready to get out of here, man, in a second. But Red, what's up, Red?
Man, what's up, bro? What's up, bro? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good, man. It's good to hear from you, man. I'm dying to hear your thoughts on this, bro. What say you about all this, man?
Well, this is what I've been thinking about. I've been hearing that blue blood got something to do with everything that's going on. The reason why Blood going over there to get his money or whatever. And if that's true, and this is not no disrespect to blue blood by any means, but just hear me out. If that's true, this is a sign that boxing just totally doesn't have its shit together. When you have a random guy, even though I know Blue Blood been around, in working with the boxing shit for a minute, but he's pretty much a random guy when it comes to the business of boxing. He's not nowhere near a major player, at least not yet anyway. And you have him having major influence on a fighter getting a big fight. In no other realm of professional sports is that possible.
Mm.
Yeah, you have guys all the time, bidding on fights in boxing that nobody's ever heard of, winning purse bids. So you're absolutely
Hmm.
right. That says a lot about the time we living in, or when it comes to the sport of boxing.
Well,
One
that
thing I
also speaks volumes about PBC. But go ahead, D-Lo.
Right. But yeah, I was gonna just say one thing because I kind of gazed at chat a little bit, and I've been seeing this kind of everywhere I've been today. Looking at live streams and watching videos while I was at work. One of the things people saying that well, why how Bud can get $10 million for fighting David Avaneysan. Well, one thing people got to think about. One of the reasons Spence versus Crawford is a difficult fight to make because they know they got to pay both of those guys good money. So when you think about how
Hmm.
how a guy like what's his name, Danny Garcia, when he was offered that, what was it, man, 3 or 4 million to fight Crawford, and
Yeah.
he made the comment, hey, I made more money than that fighting Rod Soccer, how many years
Ugh.
ago? Well, have
Right.
y'all ever looked at what Rod Soccer's purse was? The guy got like, I think it was like 50,000 or 150,000, something like that. So you can get, so
Lopsided.
when you're the marquee fighter, you know what I'm saying? You can get a huge purse when you're fighting a guy who's basically just happy to be getting the opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Who may or may
Mm-hmm.
not, deserve to be there in that particular. Well, I don't like to use the word deserve, but just he didn't expect to be there in that moment. So he's gonna take an opportunity that comes his way, long as he's making, a little bit more than what he usually makes, and an opportunity to, put himself in a position should he win to increase his income exponentially going forward. So,
Mm.
that's why it's easy for somebody to come up and say, okay, this is the kind of money we got for the fight. We're gonna give the marquee guy 95% of what we're paying, and we're giving the other guy 5% because he has somewhat of a name. He's ranked in just about all of the sanctioning bodies, including Ring Magazine has him ranked high. So when you look at that, it's easy to understand why they kind of went with David Avaneysan, and it probably didn't come with all of the strings attached that a lot of these other guys got. You talking about a new outfit? They can't go snatch boots. They can't go snatch Virgil. They can't go get, what I'm saying, Cody Crawley. There's a lot of guys they can't, that's in the WBO rankings that they wouldn't have been able to have access to if those guys even wanted to fight, because they're kind of like Boots is signed to Showtime. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Exclusively.
Mm-hmm.
You got Virgil with PB not PBC, the Zone and Golden Boy. So
Mm-hmm.
we just saw what happened when the Zone, basically when they tried to make the Jamal Charlo fight, that the Zone was like, no, we gotta get a piece of it as well. So to
Mm-hmm.
me, it's a sensible fight and it's easy to make. And under the circumstances, it makes a lot of sense for a stay busy fight if the goal is to go into to continue to negotiate with Spence for the fight going forward. And we see this all the time, man. And Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe signed in 1994 to fight each other. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that was contingent upon Lennox Lewis successfully defending his title versus Oliver McCall. But what
Mm-hmm.
happened in that fight? Oliver McCall went out and upset Lennox Lewis. But at the same time, my point is that although he had the McCall fight going on, he went ahead and negotiated and agreed to fight both. Same thing with Canelo. Canelo had to fight Abney Yildirim, but he went out there and snatched Billy Joe Saunders from under Demetrius Andrade so that he didn't have to
Mm-hmm.
deal with the Demetrius Andrade problem at 168 pounds. It
Mm-hmm.
happens all the time. Don't Nobody is saying, or as far as I know, that this fight is in lieu of the Spence fight. This is a fight that can happen in between
Mm-hmm.
right now and the Spence fight. Bud wanted to fight in 2022. They said they're not gonna fight. They can't make the fight until 2023. Nobody's gonna convince me that PBC was gonna put this fight on in December and put Tank on in December. So
Exactly.
2023, once November, wasn't gonna be a viable option, and a lot of people thought that wasn't a good idea anyway. It was gonna be 2023. So
Mm-hmm.
what's so wrong with this man getting him a fight in when he haven't had a fight in a whole year? And that's where I don't understand why so many people got so much of an issue with that. I can understand if they feel
Well,
like he was
this the
hurt and
thing. This
all
the
that.
thing, bro.
All that. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. I've been going too long anyway.
For sure. This the thing, bro. It's like this. It's kind of like, let's say we got two Super Bowl teams, but one team gets an in between game. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it always makes sense for everybody who's getting paid. It don't never make sense to the fans. You got Lennar, man. He over here sound like he just finna give up boxing and just be a UFC fan. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's why you got people walking away from this shit, bro. For real, bro. Like,
Yeah, yeah. But
it don't really make sense. Like an in between fight. Like, no, it don't. It like, come on now. No, nobody want to see this shit, bro. Like, if we being honest,
hey,
we can
but
say, "Oh,
hey,
Crawford making
Red.
a power move and they got the money and X, Y, Z," but it
Hey,
don't make
we
sense
used
because
to
nobody
we
want
used
to
to
see
see
Hey,
the
this shit.
Pro Bowl. We used to see the Pro Bowl before the Super Bowl. People would tune in and
Yeah.
watch it.
Hey, guess what? And all the Pro Bowl players consist of people who ain't playing in the Super Bowl.
I get it, but it was still a game. Hey, if I can get to see Errol Spence and Terence Crawford both fight in 2022, I'm happy about it, man. I want to see
but
them fight each other. I want to see them fight each other in 2022, but it don't look like it's
hey,
gonna happen.
let me get this in because this is also the part two I wanted to pose to y'all is when Lennar was here as well. But I wanted to know how y'all like because I know people may look at Avanesian and say for Crawford the same way I'm looking at Stanionis and saying why not Keith and why not Boots. Folks might be looking at Crawford and saying, well, he's fighting Avanesian. Aside from the payday, because it makes sure sense for the payday no matter what. People might say why not Virgil and why not or why not Boots? You know what I'm saying? When we know Virgil had more than enough opportunity to make that Terence Crawford fight, right? So when people look at David and say, well, why is he picking on David? If you can't agree with the payday aspect of it, then you can at least admit the fact that Virgil Ortiz had numerous opportunities to fight Terence Crawford, but he chose not to. You know what I'm saying? Hell, Terence Crawford was even going so hard to try to make a fight where none of Terence Crawford's opponents never had no special rule carved out for them just to make sure that they got more money. But they did that with Sean Porter just to get him into the ring. This is a dude who be going like way above and beyond, coming to your fights, trying to draw interest up as much as possible. Even when Earl Spence came back from the car accident, no, I don't want to fight him right now because it's not good because he ain't 100%. That's a dude who to me that's always wanted to make the fight. But to also chime into what y'all was just saying about far as the cards, What D'Lo was just saying, far as like one fighter get 90% and the other gets five. Imagine what the undercard get. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
The
they get
undercard
peanuts.
is that's even worse. You know what I'm saying? But all of this to me is kind of signaling in some maybe end of the year budgets or just the money running low for maybe at the moment. You know what I'm saying? And next year just makes more sense because, like I said, when you look at the Regis Prograis versus Zepeda fight, PBC lost that bid also, and they lost that bid to an unknown upstart. The same way we
Mm.
talking about now, um, this Black Prime or whoever they are, you know what I'm saying, coming in out of nowhere, and they snatching Terence Crawford up. My thing is PBC is being outdone, and if you want to say it was Blue or Blue had anything, if he's outmaneuvering the PBC, that speaks volumes about how PBC is doing business, and something ain't right because bro, it shouldn't come to that point where upstarts that we've never heard of. I forgot the name of the ones that's in the program. The one that reaches pro. I did a video on it. I forgot their name already. Never heard of them before,
Yeah, and
and they come
Pro
around
Box
whooping. They
Pro
pro
Box
no, it
putting on
wasn't.
shows as well. No, I know that, but I'm saying Pro Box done came on the scene making noise. They doing pretty good.
Bro,
Mm-hmm.
smacking Tom Brown around. They beat Tom Brown in the bid for Regis Prograis. I'm like, and Regis looking, he happy smiling from ear to ear right now. If you look up Regis Prograis, because he about to get a huge payday, and from an upstart that we never even heard of before.
Mm-hmm.
So PBC is to me, that's why I say this is their responsibility. They I'm seeing what I'm looking at. It seems like they would rather have this next year, when maybe they have access to more money or they've had more time to collect more money to throw into this. You know what I'm saying? Or when they've had these networks bid and all of that comes to a close. But I'm like, y'all, man, if this is just a pit stop, okay, he gonna go do that, make his money, and get a good scrap in with Avaneysan. He gonna go over there and fight Stanley Onions instead of fighting fucking Boots or Thurman, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, man, this has to lead to a fight between each other, especially since neither one of them are fighting the top floor right now.
But see, this is the problem. The problem is these fighters have network exclusive deals. That's the problem because if it
Bud
wasn't the
free.
case, we well Bud free, but Earl ain't. You see what I'm saying? But even if Earl wasn't, it's the fact that the network exclusive deals exist in the first place. Because you will have to, as a promoter, you will have to put together the best product possible and shop around to the networks to go find the money. They're not gonna just let you put any type of fight on whenever you get ready because these are the fighters in your stable and you got a contract with them saying they gonna mess with y'all and y'all gonna mess with them. That's the whole crux of why we don't see the fights that we want to see. If, when before the network exclusive deal came into the play, you had to make the best fight the best because the networks wasn't gonna pay for trash.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like that's the whole bottom line. So
But that's gonna
anytime we
come back
see,
and haunt them. That's gonna come back and haunt the network. And that's how HBO got push the hell out of here. I mean, it's gonna come back to haunt him. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all. And this is something I've been thinking about. I don't think going forward, and this is just a opinion or a hypothesis. I think going forward in the boxing future, the traditional networks, I think they're gonna all become obsolete. I think that the same way that boxing is eventually everything is transforming. It's a new day and age where you see how we getting our information. You see where everybody comes for their boxing information. Boxing lives on YouTube. Boxing lives online. It's just gonna be a matter of time before you're gonna start seeing more and more online networks pop up. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? You're gonna start seeing more and more deals get done. You're gonna see these YouTubers doing it, Jake Pauls and all of these. They're gonna be cutting deals with all of these. I think we're gonna have a rise of online streaming. You know what
oh
I'm
yeah,
saying? And I
oh
and I think
yeah.
that's what something like that gonna happen.
I'll
Hey,
make
let me
another
say that
example.
somebody in the chat. I think David Avaneysan at this point would eat Danny Garcia's lunch. And I'm talking about the Danny Garcia that Errol Spence Jr. fought.
Big facts. Big facts.
Let
Where the
me
hell
give
is
you
Danny gonna
another
go at
example.
54? Where he gonna go at 54?
We got Showbiz the Dope. I seen him rise up, another YouTuber making,
Mm.
doing big things with fighters having Mauricio Suleiman, talking. talking to different fight. Like, just think about it, bro. And there's no diss to showbiz or any YouTubers. It's just the fact that this shit don't go on in other sports. You don't see a you don't see a Derwin James, a safety for the Chargers, talking to like YouTubers. He's gonna be talking on a major network every time he speaks. You see what I'm saying? They're gonna cover that shit. You don't see the
Mm.
LeBron James or the Steph Currys of the world. You know what I'm saying? You don't see the NBA executives. You don't see Jerry Jones and shit talking to YouTubers and shit on their live stream. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it because the YouTubers who cover boxing are the people who really holding this shit down more than the promotional teams at this point. The
But
way the
that's
way we
exactly why the
consistently
fighters,
cover it.
and that's why Red right there. See,
Hmm.
LeBron James or any football player, guess what? They can go to 30,000 outlets, man, that all cover their sport in prime time. They can go to
Hmm.
ESPN, they can go to Fox. They can go. They don't have to come to YouTube. In boxing, it's a little different. They have to come here because this is where the energy is at. It ain't on ESPN. It ain't on. I mean, Fox boxing is not even what 2% of their program, not even 1% of their program. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Same with Showtime and any those are movie and TV show networks. You know what I'm saying? Boxing's energy lives here online. So they have to, and I think that's why I say boxing is going to trend more in that direction. And even you heard like promoters like Bob Arum even come out, oh, well, we need to start thinking about ways to put fights online and stuff like that. Like they're looking at things. Fight TV has risen up. You know what I'm saying? Like they're looking at things and they're looking for different ways I think to do the online stream. I wouldn't even be surprised if the promoters start streaming themselves. They start doing online streaming and just putting their fights on their own network. I wouldn't be surprised if we start heading in that direction. I think
Hmm.
that's where boxing is going to go, and that's why those fighters have to come to YouTube. They have to get in cool with certain platforms and stuff like that to keep their name hot, because it ain't gonna happen nowhere else but here. It's to the point now that the boxing media, not only just the boxing media, is taking direction from the YouTubers and
Hmm.
online world. You know what I'm saying? They'll never tell you, but they are, and because this is where boxing lives, and I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well,
If if I
you
if,
gotta think about it. The two biggest platforms that cover boxing is really ES News and Fight Hype.
true, 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 true.
It's a
On a
YouTube channel, bro.
consistent basis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what I mean. And that's why it's just a matter of time before YouTubers are putting on fight. I wouldn't even be surprised if a platform got big enough to promote a fight. I mean, I wouldn't be. This is where the energy lies, and if the energy is here, all that energy going to do is be fed and grow. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And honestly, it may work good for boxing. They embrace it more that way. You know what I'm saying? And stop trying to force themselves on other networks with baseball and football and all that live, because they king over there. Maybe they need to create their own lane and say we got to start being king of where we at. Come on here and bring everybody else in. That's what I think.
But see,
That's what I
here's the
think.
problem with it. It's too spread out. It's too spread out to where it's a free fall. Like it's well, at least as far as like I say with these network exclusive deals. Now if it's to the point where it goes back to where we just gotta put together a fight and shop it around to whoever's willing to pay the most, then that's different. You know what I'm saying? Because pretty much, like back when it was like that, pretty much every fight was a purse bid when you think about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
If it goes back to that.
hey, let me just take a second real quick to address this right here. It says, so Earl can come back off of a car accident and fight Danny Garcia. He calls him a warm up. Terence Crawford gives us this to look forward as a warm up. So you basically try and say, all right, this is probably why D'Lo was saying here, whoop Danny. Bro, what you got to understand is politically that was easy for Earl to do. It was easy for Earl to come back and say, hey, I want to fight Danny Garcia, two Al Heyman fighters. We just like be throwing logic out the window sometimes. How many times did Terence Crawford offer up these same name fighters? If Terence can have a better opponent, look what he had. Like I just said, look what he had to do with Sean Porter. They had to change the WBO rules just to get Porter to fight. Porter was even number one in the WBO and refused to become the mandatory. He got there and paused. He did a matrix and shit. He got there and paused. He got there and refused to. Oh, I'm gonna apply to be the man. He didn't do it either. He got dropped in the rankings.
Right.
and they had to
Porter.
change the rules to get him to come back to the table.
Mm-hmm.
That's how
Yeah.
many
Porter.
that's how many loops that Terence Crawford got to jump through just to get a decent fight in the ring.
That's
We
facts.
can't forget that part, man. It's like we say that, but damn, if Danny Garcia was a top ranked fighter, do we not think that Terence Crawford would have fought him by now?
Absolutely. And
You
and
know
the
what I'm
thing
saying?
is, like you said, Porter was the mandatory, was the number one, and then he didn't want. He basically acted like he didn't want to fight. Then they went to Virgil, and then they went back to Porter because Virgil started. Virgil's a promoter started talking about they weren't ready for the fight. Even Eddie Hearn, if y'all remember when Eddie Hearn was interviewed, he was asked about Crawford after Crawford had left Top Rank, and he was saying he don't really have the fighters for him. He said the only two fighters on the zone that could potentially be Crawford opponents was Ben and Virgil. And he
Mm-hmm.
basically said that if he had his way, there's no way he would put either one of those guys in the ring with Terry Crawford at this point.
Man, bro, I can't even. When it comes to Virgil and Terence Crawford, I can't never believe nothing on that, man. I can't never. After Terence Crawford popped up at the man's fight ringside, the same way he did Earl Spence Jr. The man popped up at Virgil Ortiz's fight and set ringside. Hell, I remember doing the video and I took the snapshot of he walked past Virgil Ortiz and like put his hand on his shoulder. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying to myself, like, bro, Virgil, you can't talk to me about Virgil never took the opportunity. Anybody, you can't wonder why Terence Crawford is fighting Avenue. Virgil never jumped out there. Never.
Man, Virgil worked for somebody.
Man, Virgil don't even know who he fighting when he fight most of the time.
Virgil
And
worked for somebody.
but you know what, bro? And it's the same thing though. If do I think that Virgil, if you sit them in a room, keep Oscar outside, keep Al Heyman outside, keep all of these suits outside, you put Virgil in there, yeah, he'll take the fight. I'm not saying Virgil's afraid, but I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
that his outfit and his handlers, they got other plans, and it was never in the cards for him to fight Terence Crawford. Never, never. And that's one thing I wanted to just keep stressing to everybody, man. We got to keep those things in mind, man. That's why Terence Crawford's story is so twisted because it's easy to look at his resume and say, "Oh, this guy, that guy, this guy," but we always forget the stories behind all of this shit and how none of these dudes wanted to jump in the ring with Terence Crawford when he's giving them ample opportunities. Here we are, 11 months later, and still no agreement between him and Earl Spence Jr. But it's Terence Crawford's fault. I don't know. So it
Man,
is what it is,
seem
man.
like the meeting negotiations got everybody like to say, oh, well, Terrence Crawford had fights with all these other guys, with none of this, that, and the other. Well, all those fights was on the network and with the promoter Terrence Crawford was with. Soon as Terrence Crawford goes and tries to make a fight across the street, where they've been saying for years across the street, where all these other guys were able to get the fights, now all of a sudden negotiation got to be super difficult, but it's somehow Crawford's fault.
That
You know what I'm
don't it
saying?
just
Like they
don't
they
make
put
sense.
all these barriers in the way when it comes to Crawford getting the fight. When he already was told that he got to wait on all this other stuff to happen before they can make the fight. Then he had to make all these concessions to try to get to the table. Then he made all these concessions just to get to the table, and then they wanted more concessions to move forward. So I just don't see how you could just what I'm saying, just keep blaming this dude because he's the guy on the outside looking in. I think a big part of the problem was Crawford was not willing to sign with PBC to get the fight. It was he wanted the
Mm.
fight, but he didn't want to sign no 2, 3, 4 fight deal. You know what I'm saying? And PBC at the same time is premier boxing champions. They got to put on championship fights. They don't want Crawford to be in a position where he can go take those belts from Errol Spence Jr. and walk away. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people felt like Crawford didn't have any options. But then, and that was one of the things that
Facts.
going into
Facts.
negotiation, we were hearing that. Oh, Crawford ain't got no options. He gonna have to fight PBC guy. He done left his promoter, this, that, and the other.
Facts.
So
Leverage.
it's just exactly that's just like if you any of us, if we done got a job offer somewhere, and now it's time to talk about salary. Well, if we don't have another job, it's going to be hard to come to the table and negotiate for what we really want. But when you got a job to fall back on and you know what you already making, you got that to stand on. That's your starting point. I'm at least getting what I'm getting where I am. Plus, I want more if you're gonna get me to leave from where I am to come there. But when you go to the table and you already done told them, yeah, I got laid off 2 weeks ago, and I'm just looking, I'm trying to get in the door somewhere. They gonna treat you like you don't have anything else going on, and that's the way they treated Crawford. Like, hey, you ain't got nothing else, so this is what we gonna do for you.
Let me ask y'all this. I'd like to hear an answer from both of y'all. Crawford asking to see the books, right or wrong?
I mean, if what they saying is true about how they were planning to pay him the net, then he has to ask to see the books. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I mean, like they said, man, people get paid out of the gross. So I mean, and none of that may not even be true. I mean, let me just preface
True.
it by
That's
saying
very
that
true. That's
that,
very
that,
true.
that whole paying him out of the net may not be true. Him asking to see all of that stuff could just be stuff that just got put out there and spent. But if that's true, if they were gonna pay him out of the net, which is what was reported, then if you believe that he's getting paid out of net, I feel like you should also believe that he should have a right to see where the money's going, what's being paid out, what's coming in, because otherwise, how do you know that you're really getting what they told you they were going to give you? And then everybody said, "Well, he didn't ask Bob for that." Well, Bob was paying this man with a guarantee. And then the fights that were pay per view, I never heard that Terence Crawford was getting paid out of the net. Which the dead is when everybody else has gotten paid, you get a portion of what your percentage of what's left. Come
Mm,
on now.
mm, 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 Red, what
Mm-hmm.
say you, Red?
I'm right with D-Lo. If that's true, then yeah, he right. You know what I'm saying? Because he needs to be able to allocate funds because he's no longer an independent contractor at that point. Just a fighter. He's a partner at that point. You see what I'm saying? If you're trying to pay him out of the total lump sum of the show,
Mm-hmm.
because it wasn't just for the fight, it was for the whole event. He was supposed to get 35%. So it probably includes parking, it probably includes food, liquor, beer, you know what I'm saying? The whole nine. Maybe even like vendor fees for people outside selling shirts. All like it's probably a percentage of all of that, bro. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But
He want to
at
know
the
every
same
dime.
yeah, but then at the same time, you got, like I said, as far as him being able to make decisions, that's got to be a part of it too, because he's a partner. So you can't just say, you just can't say, okay, the scale y'all gonna weigh in on cost $80,000. Like, hold up, you know what I'm saying? And if you think about it, bro, that's probably the way promoters use to hide money from fighters in the first place.
Oh yeah. Oh
You see what
yeah.
I'm saying? So
Oh yeah.
no, they can't. No, on their end, no, we can't let you do that. But they can't let you make no decisions on no money, even if you is our partner. And on his end, it's like, well, bro, if I can't make decisions on the money, what the fuck I'm partnering with y'all for? You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like it don't even. But see, that's what I'm saying, bro. That type of deal don't even make sense.
It don't.
Yeah, the net,
It
the
don't
It
make
don't.
net,
sense.
the net doesn't make sense. The net is silly. Somebody in the comments said silly to ask to see the books. Nobody does that. It's silly to ask somebody to get paid off the net. You know what I'm
bro,
saying? And
bro.
that's why I
Listen,
said I hope that's not even true. I hope
see,
none of that's true.
that's why boxing don't make sense because what bro's saying is right and is wrong at the same time. It's silly because don't nobody else do it in no other fucking sports. But it's right because this is a whole different type of deal when you are partner with the fucking people doing an event and not just an actual fighter on the event. It's a difference. So it's right for him to ask for that shit because he's not, like I just said. Listen, he's not a 1099 contracted fighter at that point. He is a partner of the events. He's a partner of the event. It's a totally different scenario. But where in the hell in other sports do motherfuckers be partners of their own events? They just show up, do their goddamn job, get paid, and everybody get hip hip hooray and go home. Shit. You see what I'm saying? Like boxing is all fucked up. That's why it's dying. Where they do that shit at, bro?
In boxing.
Where they do that shit, bro? Like, damn, LeBron got to go to Nike to get extra money. He ain't no fucking partner of the fucking Lakers or the fucking NBA. No, he just a motherfucking basketball
Hey,
player with a salary.
let me say something. You just brought up a good point when you said that about Nike, right? Like when these basketball players they sign their sneaker deals, what do we hear? We hear that they're getting X amount of dollars per year, right? We don't
Mm-hmm.
hear that they're getting a percentage of sales. But if they were getting percentage of sales, guess what they would have the right to see? The
The
books.
books, like Michael Jordan, there's a difference. Great point. Difference between LeBron James and Michael Jordan when it comes to the shoe deal. Michael Jordan is the owner in this shit. He's a partner. You can open up the books for him, but not for LeBron. You see what I'm saying? So for people who don't
My
fucking
thing is,
understand, go ahead.
my thing is, well, if you don't want him to open up the books, then don't make that type of offer. It's a simple deal. If you, because technically, like we said, we ain't never heard nothing like this before, and I'm sure PBC has never offered none of their fighters nothing like that before. If you don't want him to look in your books, how about just doing the simple thing and offering him the traditional deal like y'all offer everybody else? Guarantee back end money. Just make it work. But if since they want to play secretive and hardball with him, then this is what he got to do to make sure that you know what I'm saying he being treated with respect.
Shit,
So
PBC don't really give nobody no big guarantees. That's you see what I'm saying, bro? It's
well if they but then you can't want a super fight or you can't want a mega fight and not willing to do things just a little the same way they had to do with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Things had to go just a bit different in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Because it was such a huge monumental fight. When you got a fight of this magnitude, things might got to be done just a little bit different just to get to that goal. But it's worth it in the end because that's the reason it's a fight of that magnitude. You know what I'm saying? PBC is seeming like they take it. I don't know whether they're. It's like they offering they're doing good business. If Crawford accepts something like that, which like I said, I was shocked. It's like why would you do that? I would have shot that shit down. I would have been like, nah, and just went with the Avaneysan situation and just came back all together. All that, I'm okay with taking the low this and the low that. That's now. Let me be honest with you. From a business standpoint, that's bad. That's a bad position to take, even for just the respect. Unless he's just trying to overall expose him for
it
just
ain't a
not
bad
wanting to do
position to take
business.
if they open up them books and let him allocate the funds like they supposed to in a partnership and
Yeah,
make decision about what money gets spent where. So he really just pulled their card. If they if those reports are true, he really just pulled their card like, yeah, I'll take 35%, but boom. You know what I'm
you think it
saying?
was a bluff? You think it was just a him calling a bluff type thing? Like, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna see what y'all gonna do about that. You think it was something that, but see, the thing is, when you do stuff like that, they'll hold you to that shit, man. Remember, man, you said that you was gonna take boom, boom, boom. Well, which is why it's a good thing that he's getting allegedly paid so much in his Avanesian fight because once again that keep his stock up, and then he could fall back and say, well, my last fight, hey man, I got this. Can y'all got to do that and go up? We can't go down. You know what I'm saying? So that may save him, but you can't be coming out, man, and just especially so early, like you know what I mean. Oh, I'm gonna take anything and everything. That's to me just not a way to negotiate. You know what I'm saying? And if you forced to negotiate that way, then they not negotiating in good faith.
No,
But
exactly. Rick Glazer was on Coach Malachi show, and it's pretty much what he said. You know what I'm saying? Some people might,
hmm
take that him as credible or not. I'm just let you know. Somebody else said the same thing. That pretty much they're not negotiating in good faith. They didn't think he was gonna take no shit like that. He took it and said, "Okay, now what?" And it's pretty much like, nah.
that's why I say it sounded to me like it was a bluff call, unless he just like I say, and some fans believe it, that he's just that confident that he can beat Earl Spence, and in the rematch make things on his terms. That could have been a position. I mean, Terence Crawford a warrior, man. I wouldn't deny that either. That could
Well,
be
see,
maybe his
it,
logic.
it ain't even about that. It's the fact that put it like this: that 35% of the whole show is a good deal when you actually are allowed to have a say so in the funds.
I
It's
see.
only a bad deal when you're not allowed to have any say so in the funds and you don't know where money is being spent until afterwards. Because it wasn't about opening up the books, it was about him having a right to allocate funds. So I'll just give you an example. I
Approved
made this example
expenses.
earlier. Yeah, approve expenses. So it's like, okay, boom, we got a $5 million boxing ring for this night. Oh look, bro, boxing rings don't cost $5 million. What are you talking about, bro? Boxing
Yeah.
ring costs 20,000 or whatever the hell they cost. You see what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
They're gonna be like, nah, you paying for
Hey,
Right.
did you say that on another channel today?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
Just
heard. I don't remember where it was, but I heard you make that same. Yeah, and I was just saying, I would listen to the playback, and I just bust out laughing. I was like, "Yep,
yeah.
it.
So I'm just trying. I be
Yeah.
trying to break it down so people can kind of get an understanding of how
Simplified.
it's
Yeah.
really why he can have why he should be able to do that. Because people are acting like, see, there's a lot of people that don't understand, and they really thinking that he shouldn't be allowed to do that. But it's like, no, this is just a special circumstance for this type of deal that he really
Hey,
should be allowed to do that. It's just like
yep.
I say, bro, we ain't
Don't
do
make
this
the
shit at
deal.
first.
Don't offer that type of deal if you don't want him to have to do that. That's as simple as that.
But see,
Don't. That's a
they
weird
didn't think
deal.
he
Don't
was gonna
offer
take
it.
this shit. They either didn't think he was gonna take this shit, or they didn't think that he was gonna be smart enough to say, let me allocate the funds because they changed my position. One of the two. Maybe they think he didn't know no better.
Mm.
You see what I'm
Mm.
saying? Maybe they think he ain't know no better.
What I don't know, bro. It's hard to explain the logic why he did it. I was a little baffled behind it. I'm willing. I think Crawford should continue to fight for what he believe in. He's always been that type of dude. You know what I'm saying? Like you fight for what you believe in, bro. If you think they lowballing you, they dragging your name through the mud, they saying this, they saying that, but you ain't forced to do. They need that belt. Spence got to still become undisputed at the end of the day. He ain't undisputed, and he did not beat the next best guy in Terence Crawford. Crawford has always had that kind of leverage, and at the end of the day, this fight means more to Errol Spence perhaps than it does to PBC.
Bruh.
But Earl wants this fight. Earl
Yeah,
wants this
yeah.
legacy. You know what I'm saying? That fact is still burnt, and and that's why I haven't really been kind of dragging Earl like that, because I do think behind the scenes, to a certain degree, Earl is trying to hang in there as much as he can because he want this. You
Yeah,
not
hell
gonna get
yeah,
this
man.
moment ever again in your whole career, bro. It's not gonna happen no more. You go to 54, this moment gone, this opportunity gone, all of this shit gone. So he know it means a lot to him. The fans may not see that to a certain degree. They can say, "Oh, you do this, you do that." Nah, man. Earl need it. Earl want this shit in this Wikipedia, man.
Bruh. Think about it like this. We say a lot of people were saying Crawford ain't got nowhere to go, but he does. You know who ain't got nowhere to go? Earl. Earl can't go nowhere. Nobody, you can't offer Earl a deal. Exclusive. You can't offer him. Earl would have took the same fight Crawford took. If he could get it, he can't get it. He can't get that shit just because of the type of contracts they tied into. So
Mm.
yeah, it means a
I
lot to
mean, but
Earl.
but but Earl got options. He got good. He can still go fight Keith. He can still go and fight Boots. Those are still good fights for him. You know what
He
I'm saying?
got
I'm not.
options
I'm
to
not.
bet on the back end of folks buying his fight. That's what I'm saying. That's his option.
Oh yeah.
That's his
But
option.
the messed up part about all that, Red, is that none of them fights give him what the Crawford fight give him. It is the most
Exactly.
valuable fight in boxing.
you know,
That's Crawford's always been Crawford's leg. That's why I say Crawford ain't got to bow down to these cats, man. If Earl misses this moment, man, he'll never forget PBC. And I honestly think at one time Earl was bucking against people, take the L out of lever. You know what I'm saying? I think he really meant that. Like he don't want to go and do other things for real. He wants this fight. You know what I'm saying? But
Man, I
man,
heard somewhere. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's in their contract that they really can't badmouth the company or badmouth Al Haymon or that that's
oh, I'm
against their
sure.
company policy. You see what I'm
hey,
saying?
I wouldn't be surprised.
a lot of us work regular jobs where that's company
It,
policy, and we sign
yeah,
stuff
for
like that
real.
when we
Mm-hmm.
accept the job. It's like
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
we sign non competes, and we can't even go like me. I don't on my Facebook page. I don't even mention that I work anywhere because I don't want my views to some kind of way get tied to my job, and then I got to have a conversation at work because I said something that goes against what they believe. So if,
Bro,
you know what I'm saying. So I don't even acknowledge that I have a job. But
it's real. A dude got fired from my job for that, for some shit he posted online.
see,
And we
hey,
don't even work in
Hey,
the public eye.
but I'll say this right here. One thing the Crawford fight does for Spence that a lot of people don't realize is that it changes the pattern that Errol Spence is in. Like Errol Spence, high watermark on pay-per-views was Mikey Garcia. Every fight
Mm.
after that has done less and less pay-per-views. Terence Crawford, although his numbers aren't as good as Spence's, have gone up every pay-per-view. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So I mean, if you believe the pay-per-view numbers that are out there. So
Trending
to
upwards.
me, if you wanna stop that trend of them pay-per-view numbers continuously going down, you gotta make this fight. So to me, it like I just look at it like, man, you gotta fight like this. You need to make this fight as easy as possible to be made. Don't make the fight hard. Don't make the negotiation difficult. And I'm talking about the people who actually control the money. Don't make it hard for these two guys to come together and make a fight. Because to me, they devalue and undervalue both of these guys right out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
When Tim
Mm.
Smith, when Tim Smith did his interview, he set the tone, and to me, it kind of it kind of encompassed and embodies the whole way the negotiations have gone. They talk disrespect from day one, and it wouldn't, and they don't realize it, but they weren't just disrespecting Terrence when they said the fans ain't gonna buy the fight. They disrespected both those guys and us boxing fans.
Mm-hmm. And the black fan base,
Right.
especially. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a lot of doubt coming from that as well. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying, man. That's
Hey,
why I say,
man,
mm,
were the Sean Porter numbers higher than the Michael Garcia numbers? I don't remember that. The Spence
Sean.
versus Porter. Spence versus Porter. Did they do better numbers than Spence versus Mikey?
Nah, Mikey is
I,
his top.
I didn't think so. Somebody put in the comment section that what I said
No,
wasn't true. And then they said
no,
the Porter numbers were higher than the Mikey Garcia numbers.
no. Mikey's his pinnacle. Mikey's his pinnacle. Mikey's is his top. Like you said, you hit it right on the head. He's been trending downwards ever since.
Hey, I don't
It's
always
not
be
been
right
trending
about
upwards.
I don't always be right about what I say, but I never get on here on anybody's platform or my own or anybody's forum, as I like to say, or my own, and try to push a narrative and just say something for the sake of tearing somebody down. You know what I'm saying? Do I when
Nah,
it
we
comes to
talking
this Spence
facts.
Crawford thing, I always, you know what I'm saying, try to be as unbiased as I can and impartial and call it like I see it. But sometimes the things that are actual facts don't support what somebody wants to believe, and a lot of times because it doesn't, they want to call you a liar. And you know what I'm saying. But like I said, if I'm mistaken, then okay,
No, you're
I
not
pull
though.
that back. But I don't think I'm mistaken. I think Mikey was the high watermark, and
Yeah.
everything after that has gone down.
Hey man, I want to take a second, man, to give a special shout out to my homie Dre's finest, man. That's DC Brethren right there, man. What's up, Dre? What's up with you, man? I know he down for
Salute.
Earl, so I ain't gonna say but so much. But what up with you, Dre, man? Salute to the OG up in the house, man. Much love, man. But yeah, man, you right, man. That was his pinnacle, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I mean. That goes to speak a lot though. To let me know that that's what he had to do to go get hot. And see, like I always, people think I be joking about it, but I really mean it when I say, look, Terence Crawford did not go and face a Devin Haney to do. He didn't do a spectacle in that type of fashion. He had to just do it the traditional way. Whoever is there, whoever got the belts, I'm going at him. It's as simple as that. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't have that opportunity like that, bro. And it's very unfortunate, man. It's very
Man,
unfortunate, man.
most of these
But
fighters don't have any opportunity to do anything, but they. Let's see. This the crazy part about boxing is that when you sign their contract, they're in a compromised position. So most people take it. But now you got, I think it's a guy named Kid Galahad or something like that. Y'all heard
hmm
of him?
yeah, I know Kid
Yeah,
got that.
yeah. They refused to sign and pretty much said he gonna be his own boss right from the get go. So he, you know, Kid Galahad's father is probably looking at the books. Y'all,
Mm.
there's probably some shit they got worked out because they don't want to be under somebody's control. But most people, they in a compromised position. They just turned pro. They want to get some security, some money under their belt. Boom. But it's already written in contract stipulations that if if a promoter gets you to a certain amount of success, that your contract is automatically renewed for a number of times. If I get you a title shot, or if I make you a world champion, or if your purse get up to $1 million, you already under a contract for even longer without even touching the pen again to resign. Like,
Yeah, they call those accelerators.
accelerators. That's what they
Yeah,
call them.
claw,
Yeah,
yeah,
accelerators.
accelerator and automatic extensions and stuff like that that's built in. Top Rank's good at that. You know, that's why a lot of people felt like Bud was going to be in a situation with the Porter fight that somehow making that defense was going to cause him to have another fight, and or if he did XYZ, he'd get extended. But the thing what that showed me was when Crawford entered into that negotiations for that restructured deal when that ESPN Plus money came in, that they had their business together. And they made sure that he wouldn't go be in some situation where he's getting automatically extended, which is probably what was happening to him before that.
I want to address
Because
this.
remember Bob Arum made the comment that he had Terence Crawford. Basically, he said something to allude that Terence Crawford was under contract for life, but that was years before. You know what I'm saying? He was able to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
And that's
I
what it
wanna
is.
let me address my homie Dre's finest comment right here, man. He says they gave Crawford everything that he wanted, even back in. Crawford knew all of the time that he was not going to fight, knowing that he was fighting the bottom of the barrel. I don't think Avaneysan's the bottom of the barrel, and he's definitely not a 35 pounder. I had my hopes up for the fight. See, that's what I'm saying, Dre. And I'm saying this to a lot of the Spence fans, man. Your sorrow is misplaced. The fight ain't dead. People running around like the fight is dead, bro. The fight ain't dead. Crawford just telling you, look, I'm tired of waiting. I'm gonna go do this real quick, and when I get done with this, I'm gonna swing back around and see what's up with them. They should have their house in order by then, or whatever needs to be done. Hopefully, should be done by then. Clearly, if you, like I said, you don't want to believe Terence Crawford, if you don't want to believe the Crawford fans, then you can believe the boxing scene article, where it clearly it says in the article that they were planning a fight for 2023. All Terence Crawford is doing is going to make a bag, stand sharp, stand active. He never tossed the Spence fight in the trash. So I'm sure Spence fans are going to bash him for it. But look, y'all need to understand that we still in the negotiation. The fight ain't over. The fight ain't dead. He's just tired, and he's going to do what he's to stay sharp instead of sitting on the fence like Adrian Bronner or like Keith Thurman. He's not doing what they're doing. He's taking his career by the horns and saying, I'm going to do what I want to do because I'm free. And when y'all get done, when y'all stop wrangling, when y'all get y'all money together, when y'all figure out what the budget situation like, come holler at me. And for now, I'm gonna make 8 figures. And then, so like I said before, this means he's now touched every belt in boxing, number one Hall of Fame bound, and at this point, clocking the biggest checks at 147. He ain't doing nothing wrong. Y'all, we just so used to seeing these fighters do what they're told. Sit down, take it, don't say nothing, move when we tell you to move. But when we see somebody moving a little different, it's foreign to us. Nah, man, this is just a
I'm
dude at
I'm gonna tell
35
you.
years old
I'm gonna
taking
tell
his
you
career by the
that
horns.
these a lot of people feel like Terrence Crawford shouldn't be able to do this. That's what a lot of people feel like. Like I'll give you an example. If Canelo Alvarez does the same thing, nobody really has anything to say because they feel like Canelo Alvarez brings enough money and he's such a big star that he can do that. They don't feel that way about Crawford. But what y'all got to realize is he's obviously showing you that he's capable of doing the same thing on a smaller scale. You're an independent contractor. You take the best deals you can get.
Facts. Big facts. And he ain't obligated to wait, and especially after spending 11 months. Not 3 months, not 4 months, not 6 months. After sitting around for 11 months, going to all of these fights, rooting his little young boys on, you know what I'm saying? He's trying to stay around the fight game, getting his hand put in the Hall of Fame and shit. 11 months, all of this shit went past and no fight. I think it was D-Lo that said it earlier. When the last time we seen Crawford go this long, sitting around doing nothing, waiting on the fight? Y'all
But
think Terence
but
Crawford goes to these fights, Errol Spence fights for his health? He goes to these fights for nothing. He's there because he wants the damn fight.
but they'll tell you that Terrence Crawford would negotiate in good faith. Meanwhile, he's sitting on the shelf the whole year.
He could have probably been took a fight. He probably could have been made a move. He waited 11 months before he made any kind of move. He probably, man, come on, man. It's the number one pound for pound fight in the world. Even if Virgil Ortiz don't want to fight him, even if they can't politically line up the other fight, somebody in them rankings will want to fight him. And at the very least, he could have probably been took. He ain't gonna sit around 11 damn months.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then no deal. And now
Then
this is the type of deal he got to take, man.
a lot of
Nah,
people gotta
man.
understand this too. As far as David Avaneysan being the opponent, I know we don't want it, but you gotta realize that David Avaneysan is probably the best fighter that these black prime people can get their hands on. You think Oscar De La
Mm,
Hoya is gonna let Virgil Ortiz fight on Black Prime, an unknown ass network that ain't never did no
facts,
boxing shows? You think
facts.
they gonna allow that with Bruce Ennis or anybody else who want to see them fight? You
No.
gotta allow that with David Avenese. What network is he signed to?
Man. Hey, get the hell out of here. Hey, salute to Napoleon Armstrong, man, and that's a super chat. Thank you for your support, Napoleon, my G. What's up, man? He said, yo, main man, the newest narrative is since Bud has stalled this, never do business with him again. How convenient to shut down the fight in the future. A lot of fangirls don't want this massacre. Gotta agree with you, Napoleon. Here's the thing. If anybody takes that position, they never wanted to fight from the jump. Bud is not flushing the fight down the toilet. Bud is saying instead of sitting at home, sitting around just getting fed off Thanksgiving turkey, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go ahead and get ready for a fight. Hell, even Earl Spence Jr. himself left on his Twitter. Shit, man, I could have had a fight in November. He want to fight. You know what I'm saying? He can't fight because he can't do nothing until they tell him what to do. You know what I'm saying? But at
But
the end of
but
the day, that don't stop Bud Crawford. Go ahead, D-Lo.
say but Arrow's over there with a ton of fighters, so he should have he should be able to get a fight just as easily as Crawford is. They're going to
Oh
get one
yeah,
in before the year's out. You
oh
know what I'm
yeah, he can
saying?
get a
So
date.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
man.
and the thing is, you got all of this talk about, you know what I'm saying, shut Bud out, don't talk to him, don't ever do business with him again. What business were they doing with him in the first place? They basically told the man, we ain't doing business with you until you get off him with Bob. Got off him with Bob and still had more hurdles to do business. Like I said, they had an opportunity to do business with Bud and test the water. Like and I came on your channel and said this, man, when they announced that fight, that PBC had an opportunity to do a trial run to see how
Mm-hmm.
Bud Crawford could do on their networks on pay per view. They could. Bob Aaron wanted to split the Porter thing down the middle and let PBC get an opportunity to get in on it. They declined.
Mm-hmm.
So how serious were they about making a fight with Bud Crawford versus Errol Spence down, in the immediate future?
Well,
Bro,
see, they real serious
how
if they
about
can
if you
get
look through the
control.
history, bro. I can't even think of an example of when I honestly thought PBC was with any fighter, like you said, bro, was ever really sit down. The only one they probably was serious about was Luis Collazo back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, do we
Right.
got a name of a fighter that PBC was dead serious on sitting down and putting in front of Terence Crawford? The whole time Crawford been at 47. Not just now. How about the whole time he's been there?
He's
Do we
seven.
got any fighter?
I think he's 7-0 against PBC fighters. Most of them at 35 and 40. But at the same time, and then of course, he got the Porter fight last year. So, but every fight that they like, look at it. The proof is in the pudding. When PBC offers up one of their fighters to another platform, it's always one of the lower tier guys. The only one that got that was a marquee guy was Porter, but they didn't have anything for Porter, and Porter got the
Nothing.
mandatory position. They blessed him to go ahead and take that mandatory. Initially, Porter didn't want no part of the mandatory because he didn't have permission to.
Well,
Well,
he
you
ain't want
gotta
that
think
split.
about it.
He ain't want that
Yeah,
split.
yeah,
Right,
yeah.
that
So
was
it
the
really
other
wasn't
thing.
even a
Yeah,
mandatory.
yeah, that was the other thing. He didn't want the mandatory split, so they came back somehow, got the sanctioning body to look at who's been making what kind of money, and they determined that he's making, about 40%. Basically, Terence Crawford making 60% to his 40 consistently in the fights that they've had. So that's how he was able to get that 40%.
Bro, let me tell you something, man. Anybody who say that they don't want to do business with Crawford in the future because of this fight, I would ask them, what date is this fight? They talking about December? Was it December the 10th, right? Was Crawford and Spence gonna fight on December the 10th? Were they? Were they
No,
gonna fight?
they
Were
was
they
gonna
gonna fight
fight.
on
They
December?
talking February, and Tank
So
Davis is supposed to fight in December.
my point. So if we not even talking about Crawford and Spence fighting in December, how the hell you gonna sit back and say you're not gonna do business with them in the future, or anybody shouldn't do business with them in the future, when this moment right here doesn't have anything to do with Spence? Their fight can still march on as planned with no problems as long as they don't lose. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on. At the end of the day, man, look, PBC, they're not, this is, it's fake outrage. They ain't mad at this fight that turns cross. Steven Espinoza can come out and give an Oscar-worthy performance. Anybody from PBC, oh my God, we can't believe he did it. Man, that's bullcrap. They are smiling from ear to ear, knowing that Terence Crawford walked away from this for right now. They are, because now they can take Earl, put him in a fight with Stanionis or whoever, and still do business as usual. That's just the whole deal. Now they don't have to do the headaches. They don't have to. They can continue. This should be a good thing. It gives them time to continue to build towards the fight, meaning that put it together, whatever they got to make both fighters happy. It keeps both fighters active. BBC shouldn't feel no kind of way because this ain't got nothing to do with them.
But see, the thing about it is, I don't think PGC feels no type of way. Is I just don't think we'll ever see the fight unless Terence Crawford actually signs a contract, a PGC contract. I
Right.
don't think he wants to do that.
Exactly. It's the
Like,
same thing, man. They can't be. It's just like with Regis Prograis. It's just like Regis is not their fighter, but sometimes they bid on his fights, right? You
hmm
can't be mad. He's not yours. He can do whatever he want to go and do. You can't sit around and be all fucking moist and acting all emotional because he went and did something that benefits and betters his career financially. It keeps him active at 35. This is all good, man. Anybody who taking this and going all crazy with it is manufactured fake outrage because this has nothing to do with the Earl Spence Jr. fight. Nothing.
but see,
And
the
unless he
problem
loses,
is
unless he
the fans
loses.
think it has something to do with the fighters. Like they think that it's the fighters that don't want to fight. You know, this oh he's ducking this guy. You know, all of that just talk, man. But at the end of the day, all this boxing shit is ran off of this.
That's all. That's all. That's all it is, man. Hey, look, fellas, I appreciate y'all rocking with me tonight. I'm gonna get ready to wrap this on up, man. It's been we been going for a couple hours, man. So I'm about to pull on up to the crib, man.
For sure, man. Salute to
Hey, man,
y'all.
I appreciate y'all, man. I thank
Salute to
y'all for
y'all.
rocking out with me tonight too, man.
Oh yeah, catch you on the next one, man. Peace to everybody in the chat, main man and Red.
That same to you, bro. Yeah, man, that is the fam right there, man. Hey, Napoleon, man, I hope we covered we covered your topic right there, Napoleon. You know what I'm saying, man? But this is what it is, fam, man. It's always great to chop it up with the fam, man. Getting many different perspectives like this, man. It's always great. You know what I'm saying? Salute to everyone that came on through and rocked out with me tonight, man. My homie D-Lo 44 Boxing. And look, everyone that hears the sound of my voice, please check out D-Lo 44 Boxing. The guy y'all heard speaking tonight, man. He is the voice of reason. Great boxing mind right there. Gonna always give you common sense approach and gonna always keep it factual with you. You know what I'm saying? So y'all definitely go check out D-Lo. D-Lo, if you still hear me, bro, please drop your link in the chat. You know what I'm saying? So any of the new fam, anybody that came on through for the first time tonight can definitely see that. You know what I'm saying? But I want to say thank y'all all. Y'all know this has been my first live stream that I fully has done perhaps in like 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So my flagship show, the greatest boxing show on earth, We Talking Boxing Live, is coming back in full effect. I got a lot of new additions to the show, fight fans, that I've been working on behind the scenes. We will be opening up the phone lines back up, man. I want to get y'all input on some of this stuff that's going around. And you know, man, I just want to say salute, man, to everybody. I just want to leave y'all with this last message, man. The same thing I just been kind of banging on, and that's, look, anybody that's feeling discouraged, oh my gosh, I'm done with boxing, I'm moving on to the next thing. Look, don't feel that way. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't get the fight we were going to get this year. They were clearly planning it for next year anyway, fight fans. Look at the reporting. That even if you want to believe that contract stuff, the contracts that the lawyers or the representatives